Okay,
Okay, boyos.
Attention, duelists. We're one man down today. He like died in the Capsule Monsters world or something.
Oh god, it's
but
very sad.
Chip,
Yes.
Chip, in reference to Capsule Monsters, I would like you to still put Liam on all of the branding for this episode.
Just like how Kaiba's not even in Capsule Monsters, but he's still in the intro.
Yep.
Yep. So just Sir Kaiba not appearing in this series.
Yes. Of course.
But we're not there yet.
No.
We're here in
Exactly.
America.
Yes,
Yeah,
we're still in America. In fact,
We're still in
this is
still
going
in
to be
the
an
worst
America-centric
country on
episode.
Oh yeah, this is America.
This is
Don't
America
get you slipping
because
up. Don't get you slipping up.
because
Look what I'm whipping up.
the first group of episodes that we're talking about is the Kaiba Corp Grand Championship, which takes place in Kaibaland, USA, and then the second lot of episodes we're going to be talking about is Capsule Monsters, which only ever aired in American.
This is America.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't like America, get out, commies.
Get out of
yeah.
the kitchen.
And now
No,
the
no,
stars
no,
of
no.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Will sing the
No.
national anthem.
No. Okay, so anyway, this. Oh no.
you see?
Oh my god. Okay,
By the
so
Dawn's early
I don't know the song.
I don't know the rest, 'cause I'm not American.
You know, there was that 4Kids ad of various
There
characters
was.
singing the national
It's
anthem.
glorious. My favorite thing about that ad is that only Michelangelo is American. None of the other characters are.
I hate this country with a burning passion. I hate it. I hate it. But, yeah, so the characters are all still in America because, well, Atlanta's shenanigans.
Yeah, they still haven't
And,
got back yet.
they're just hanging out on vacation with
Oh my God.
old man and child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's their name.
And now she decided to put her hair up, and honestly, I kind of prefer it the other way. But whatever, I guess.
Well, I
We're
love
getting the hair
I
up.
love her outfit in that. I love her outfit in this.
I don't even
Oh, yeah.
know what her outfit is.
It's
She's
weird.
She's wearing some sort of black jumpsuit with a cute blazer and
So the way I described it when I first saw it was halfway between an Ava plug suit and a Japanese school uniform.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
that's
I like
awesome.
her look in last season more, but whatever. So we're gonna be dueling because no one can leave because they got the one-way tickets for Pegasus and they got no way to go back.
Oh,
But
yeah.
don't worry, Kaiba's like,
I like to
Kaiba's
think
like,
that
yeah.
I like to think that Pegasus was going to cover their flight. They just didn't ask.
Yeah, I
Probably.
bet you would have too. So
Like they just
Kaiba's
completely did not think to ask, "Hey Pegasus, can we go home?"
yeah, it's dumb.
Because like
So
he is super mellowed out after season 1.
Oh yeah.
So
He would-
Kaiba
So they-
is like,
Kaiba sends a helicopter out to them and says, "Hey, I'm making a tournament. You're coming. You don't have a choice."
Yeah.
you're invited. You better show up, you motherfuckers. And also, it's your only way home. So get your ass down to Kaibaland, USA, and enter my tournament. And
Yep.
the winner gets
It's
to
like
duel Yugi.
it's like Kaiba knew how desperate they would be, or just arrogantly assumed they would accept for no reason. Because this entire tournament, the entire point is that Yugi is being offered as a prize.
Yeah.
Yeah, the winner gets to duel Yugi, which is, of course, the biggest thing because Yugi is the best duelist ever.
Yeah. And you
Yeah,
know what? I
so-
like that. I like that Yugi isn't one of the main duelists for this part of the season. I like
Yeah.
that he's given a break, you know?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
basically the premise is Kaiba, like the Kaiba Corp's stocks are like rock bottom. No one likes
Yeah.
Kaiba anymore because they all think that he tried to destroy the world.
Yeah.
Like, he's all like, "This is not. I just opened an amusement park. This is a very bad time for me. I'm going
Yeah.
to We're
All
gonna
that
we're gonna throw
Orichalcos
up a fun Duel Monsters tournament to remind the world how card games can be cool, and the winner gets to duel Yugi, and it's all gonna be good. And I'm not gonna be participating, so Kaiba really works as a wrestling announcer.
He does, yeah.
He really
He does.
does.
He announces all these. It's so funny.
Yeah. He like, goes up on the stage, he says, "This is a historic moment in dueling. Witness these people as they battle for the fate of duel kingliness or something."
But yeah,
I don't know.
I think Yugi is the only reason people are here.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
I don't know. I don't
Nobody
know
knows who Junichi is.
Nobody
Somehow,
knows
despite
who
the
Joey
fact
is.
that despite the fact that Joey topping in both tournaments is a thing, no
Yes.
one seems to know who he is. It doesn't make any sense. If I don't know, like, okay, so they must have watched Joey duel Yugi because Yugi fucking won in battle, not in Battle City, in Duelist Kingdom, right?
They have
Yeah.
So
apparently
that's the
all of
finals.
Duelist
So how
Kingdom
the
was
fuck?
televised, presumably including when Pegasus admitted to kidnapping and entrapment.
Yep. Probably.
Going into the fucking Shadow Realm.
I don't know if that part could be filmed. I don't know.
No,
if
I
that
mean,
part
no one
be-
could see. Can you imagine just the fucking black void shows up and everyone's just like, I wonder what's going on. Yugi comes out. I won, guys. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like the part of the Battle City where the gods punched each other. At that point, it couldn't be filmed.
Yeah.
Everything exploded.
But like, okay,
But,
so like,
yeah,
in
so
the
everyone hates Kaiba, but they really like Yugi because reasons. And this whole entire tournament would not have worked if Yugi had just decided, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna stay in America and date this 11-year-old like she seems to want me to.
oh yeah, this is America.
Yeah, that's what Rebecca seemed to just want Yugi to stay with her forever, and like
She wants the Yugi D.
if Yugi was actually as old as he looks, this would be adorable. But it's actually just kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird, and I don't think it's ever gonna not be weird, even if we ever saw Rebecca again when she's like older.
Imagine if she showed up in GX. That would have been cool. But no, instead, nothing.
Yep.
Anyway, so
Instead we get a different blonde girl who's good at card games.
and we get a different little girl who.
And we
who's
get a
good at
different
card
little
games
girl
and
who is
spontaneously ages later on.
Yep. It's
Don't
weird.
worry, that's a
This-
thing. Anyway,
This is so weird. Anyway, card games. So Yugi assumes he's going to be participating in the tournament and isn't told until last minute, like when they're on stage. He's like told, and Yugi will not be participating because he's too good. So he'll just be like the prize, I guess.
Okay, but by the way, I can't see the episode summaries anymore because Kaiba stole them.
Yeah.
I have these desktop Kaibas, and they just like steal stuff off the webpage. So now I can't see anything because Kaiba stole it. Thanks, Kaiba.
So they're like desktop toys, but exclusively in your browser.
Yes.
And they're just all chibi Kaiba.
Yes.
Is Kaiba the only Yu-Gi-Oh character in it, or
No, they have more, but you gotta like pay a subscription to use more than one character at a
that's-
time. But you can have clones of the
that's
same
shit.
character.
That's shit. I hate capitalism.
Yeah. But so I just
Anyway.
have 3 pet Kaibas now, and they steal stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring it up myself, but I think I have some sort of femboy Jake Lloyd hacking my steez here.
Oh no.
Oh, okay. So the villain of this season, and his name is Siegfried Lloyd von Schroeder,
Yes.
but I don't even fathom how this is linguistically possible, but apparently the way Sieg is pronounced in Japanese is Jake.
Yeah, it's kind of
So
weird.
whenever they say his pseudonym that he registered under this tournament as, Sieg Lloyd. They just say Jake Lloyd.
Yep.
From Star Wars.
Yep.
Star
And
Wars, yeah.
And this is the one who is not the boy, the child boy. This is the adult boy who looks like the girl.
He does, especially in his introduction scene where he's like in the bath and you just see his legs.
Like, oh my god, this is it. This is it. This is the sexiest character in Yu-Gi-Oh that doesn't have tits.
Hell
The
yeah.
sexiest one.
Even more sexy than normal Merrick and Duke.
Normal Merrick is pretty good.
And it's debatable if Duke has tits later on.
Wait, what?
What?
Wait,
What?
Wait.
I'm not sure where you're going with this.
So in Dark Side of Dimensions, Duke is given a redesign for no reason to be more feminine.
Oh.
And for no reason whatsoever, I have decided that this means that Duke Devlin is trans.
You know what? I mean, I'll have to see it for myself, but I can drink to that.
No, I want him to. Never mind.
He does not have a large bosom. Or they. I'm just going to say they.
Oh my god.
They do not have a large bosom, but that does not change the fact that if they are girl, they tits.
Well,
So,
I'll be
anyway.
keeping a close eye on Duke's bosom.
Duke literally shows up for like a minute, maybe, in that movie. You will see him,
not even
and then
that.
he will be gone.
Like,
Yeah,
Duke
has,
is
like,
only
one
on
line.
screen. Duke is only on screen long enough for you to actually see what they look like and get a feel for the titty. No, you do not get to feel Duke's titties.
Aw.
Or Jake's, femboy Jake Lloyd. That's what we're calling him.
Siegfried shows up, and he's like, I hate Kaiba because I am German.
Oh god, yeah, his voice in the English dub.
Hey,
I am so glad I did not watch the dub.
That is so funny. I don't care.
Evidently, I remember this arc so poorly that I thought Pegasus was going to show up, but I was actually just getting Pegasus confused with both of the Lloyd brothers. I mean, the Schroeder brothers.
Sure he does.
That is such a weird concept to think about, but it makes sense in my head. So it's like Siegfried is very clearly modeled after Pegasus in ways.
Yeah.
They're both effeminate corporate business people that hate Kaiba for reasons, who are good at card games, and his brother Leon, I keep forgetting his name, even though it's such a simple name. His brother Leon plays a very similar deck to Pegasus.
Yeah, he does, actually. And also, it's kind of debatable whether or not Siegfried is actually good at card games. He just sort of has one broken deck, and then cheats for the rest of the time.
Yeah, okay, so when I said good at card games, what I meant was everyone thinks he's good at card games because he has... Okay, so, like, we're not there yet. We're gonna talk... How about we start talking about things in order of...
there's a first time for everything.
Yeah. Okay, so are we still camping, or are we firmly into the things now?
Let's be in Kaiba Land with frickin' Rick or something.
Rick. Okay, so like Yugi hangs out at the Kaiba Land's, I guess, duel arena and
the duel dome,
hanging out with a bunch of kids. Children in a show about children's card games? Who'd have thought? And all the kids really like him. And one of the fans is like, he hands Yugi his deck of shitty cards and is like, Yugi, tell me, I keep losing. Tell me, what am I doing wrong? And Yugi looks at his cards and is like, oh no, how do I break it to this kid that his cards are all terrible? And then Rebecca tells him, these cards are all terrible.
Yeah.
that Yugi's friends who are more rude than him are all there, because it's really hard to tell someone, look, the cards you want to play with are not good, and you need to play with other cards.
Yeah, basically, Kid has almost all his deck is literally all dragons in one.
Normal dragon cards. There is only one effect monster and one spell card in the entire deck, and then it's all normal dragon monsters.
Yes.
Not even good ones.
It's true. This is exactly what I was going to say. Dragon Nillas all the way.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Baby Dragon is potentially the best card in the deck. Aside from, obviously, the effect monster, which is Spirit Ryu, which is situationally good.
Well, it's definitely better than a lot of these other cards.
I think this is the most bizarre thing about Yugi's whole deal is he sees this deck and after thinking about it for like less than 30 seconds is like, oh, I have exactly the card to make this deck suck less just in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Heart of the Underdog, and even more epic.
Yugi has a deck box that he keeps in his pocket that he keeps all of his cards in, but apparently he had this one specific card somewhere else on his person, and he could just whip it out immediately.
Not only that, like, why does he have it with him? Like, Heart of the Underdog is worthless in Yugi's deck because Yugi does have some Nillas, but not enough for it to matter.
Yugi plays a lot of normal monsters. I think he actually has a normal monster deck in a lot of video games, but just the point being is, even if this specific card was actually good for Yugi, why would he have it in a different places? Does he just have a... Oh, wait. Does the school uniform that Yugi's always wear have a lot of pockets, or am I just imagining that?
I think it has at least a few.
What if he keeps cards that make him... that remind him of his friends in each individual pocket?
What if he keeps them in his hair?
Because, he has this card, Heart of the Underdog, and the character on it looks like Joey, because he's based off Joey.
So the recurring character on Heart of the Underdog that I don't think has a name yet, they appear on a lot. They appear on in the artwork of a couple cards relevant to shitty normal cards.
Yeah, Common Charity and Heart of the Underdog.
Yep, and a couple. I want to say Law of the Normal, but probably not Law of the Weak.
No,
the point is, my headcanon now is that every individual pocket on Yugi's jacket is devoted to one of his friends, and he just keeps cards that make him think of his friends in each of the... he just has a Joey pocket, so when he sees this deck of shitty cards, he's like, oh, I have just the thing for that. And then instead of having to rifle through 40 cards in his deck box, he has a Joey pocket, and he just has to rifle through 3 or 4 cards. Then it makes sense why Heart of the Underdog would be so easy for... Now...
Sure, okay.
There's so many possibilities here. So many! I'm loving it. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba!
Does he keep the Kaiba cards in a crotch pocket?
Oh my god.
I don't know.
I don't know why that's immediately what came into my head.
So Rick decides that, not exactly knowing what this card Yugi hands him does, he just implicitly trusts Yugi. It's like, Yugi says this card is good, therefore I am good now. And he goes to duel the robot because the duel arena in Kaiba Corp has a robot.
Oh yeah.
And
it's like the robot you used in Battle City.
It's the robot that Kaiba used to duel to test everything.
Yeah.
This is apparently the first time the main characters have encountered a robot. They're surprised by how it plays, which is accurate to how NPCs play in Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games. Its strategies don't make a whole lot of sense, except in gameplay terms. It basically plays cards that destroy themselves to make big. Oh, and also this is the first time in the series when we get confirmation that Five God Dragon is an actual card that exists.
Oh yeah.
The robot has Five God Dragon and he plays it good.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so Rick goes to do the robot, and then everything gets bad. Apparently, Kaiba Kaiba Land has been hacked.
Yep.
They don't know how extensively Kaiba Land has been hacked by now, but apparently it's been hacked, and the entire Duel Dome just goes into lockdown mode. Like all of the blast doors fall down, the lights turn out, everything. Like it looks like the end of the world is happening, and this is the safe house now.
Why does this thing have blast doors but not a fire exit?
Someone hacked a duel arena, and now you need to beat the robot in a card game in order to escape.
Okay, yeah. So this season is really like. Okay, so I have been consistently impressed.
So like, no, the dual robot shouldn't be attached to the door system. What?
Yeah, so I have been consistently impressed with this show. Up to this point, I've been consistently impressed with this show for not devolving into why are we dueling this? Because card games. This season is just full of because card games.
It's like. That is going to be GX. GX is going to be this most of the time.
This is like
especially the first 2.5 seasons. The first 2.5 seasons and some of the fourth season are all just this. Just card games. Let's go.
Hacking a dual computer to control the doors is like hacking a calculator to remotely detonate nukes. These systems are not interconnected in any way.
Well, I guess they are in Kaiba Land.
This shouldn't be happening. This is confusing as hell. They really should have hired Rebecca when she asked.
Yes, they really, really should have.
Liam pointed it out that Kaiba was going to come to regret not taking Rebecca up on her offer.
Mm-hmm.
That he should have hired her for security.
Oh dear.
Mokuba does yield to let Rebecca help try to fix the computer, but even she's like, yeah, I could have prevented this, but I can't stop it.
Yeah.
The only way out is to duel this computer, apparently.
Which has been set to the highest level possible.
Yes. And again, the deck that it's facing is already locked in. The normal dragon deck that Rick has, it has to be the competitor for this duel.
Yep.
So Yugi leaps into action. He's all like, I'm the only person who believes that shitty ass deck could possibly win a game. Except when he draws his opening hand, and even Yugi is like, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah.
This is like, everyone is all like, oh no, there is no possible way Rick's deck could possibly win, no matter who's dueling with it. And then Yugi jumps in and is like, I could win with this deck! Oh no!
Yeah, but you know what? He pulls it off somehow.
He pulls it off in a way that almost sort of seems plausible.
Yeah.
Like, I've been trying to put together this deck in Duel Links. Duel Links has these things called skills that you can just have a thing that your player can do once per duel. And Yugi's is that if you lose 2,000 life points, draw whatever card you want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could really work in this deck. I really want it. But Duel Links is a shitty, unrewarding mess, so I've been playing it nonstop for 2 weeks, and I still don't have Destiny Draw.
Oh no.
Fucking hate it. Konami, what the fuck. But yeah, so Yugi, obviously, he just, like, the robot keeps kicking his ass, and then eventually Yugi draws Heart of the Underdog, and then it's all over.
Yeah, he draws all through his entire deck, almost until he gets Spirit Ryu, and then...
Like I said,
What has happened? How does he send all those cards to the graveyard?
Okay, so Yugi just drew a bunch of shitty normal cards, and then eventually he drew Heart of the Underdog, played it, then on his next turn, drew every single card remaining in the deck until he got the Spirit Ryu.
Yes.
Summons Spirit Ryu and then uses its effect to send all the dragons to in his hand to the graveyard. And then Spirit Ryu gains 1,000 attack points for every shitty card that you did.
Oh, okay, that's how Spirit Ryu sends them to the graveyard.
Yeah. So this is amazing.
Yep.
This is potentially one of my favorite duels in the franchise because of just how absurd it is, and yet no rules were broken. This is exactly how the game works. Yeah. This is one of the stupidest ways you could play the game, but it works.
And that carries over to like a few of the later duels in this arc as well. Like there's one we'll be getting to later, which I'm really impressed with. But yeah, okay. So for now,
we get lots of epic dueling.
Yeah, he beats the computer. The door's all open.
He beats the computer. The door's open. I think my computer just froze a bit. Okay. Am I supposed to be recording?
If you can, please.
Because I apparently forgot to push the recording button.
I may have forgotten to remind you to do that. Please do so.
I'm going to start recording now.
Okay.
I'm going to start recording now, and we'll just pretend that I've been recording the entire time. Yeah. I feel bad.
Okay. And let's carry on. So
anyway, so the door's all open because the hacker was nice like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Mokuba's all like, well, I guess we got a plot this season.
All's well that ends well.
Yugi's really disappointed because he just wanted to play card games with a bunch of cool people.
Yeah, and Yugi is incredibly upsetty that he has to do things other than play card games.
Yugi is starting to develop PTSD, it seems. It's not quite at my levels of fuck the world, everything's bad, I want to play card games for evil now. But like, it's really bumming Yugi out that the only times he gets to play card games is when shit's happening that's bad. He's like, oh no, oh no, my grandpa's been kidnapped. Oh no, there's the evil criminal organization. Oh no, the world's literally ending. What the fuck?
Oh no, my grandpa's been kidnapped again.
Yugi's grandpa has been kidnapped more than most continents. I don't know what I mean by that.
Alexander the Great would like to know your location.
Oh, yes. We haven't got to him yet. Give us a little while.
What the fuck is this show that Alexander the Great is involved? Fucking hell. I love it. I love it.
Okay. But before we get to him, first we gotta be introduced to Misc the Rock.
Hold on.
And the others.
Yeah, we gotta... So, despite the fact that they went ahead and made like a bunch of original characters for this series, for this arc, we only actually get character development for
one of them. 3, technically, I guess, but the other 2 are antagonists.
I don't even think they all have voice actors.
Most of them? Probably not, no. So, out of the 16 duelists that are participating in this Kaiba Corp Grand Prix, 9 of them we never actually get to see duel.
Yeah.
Yep. I think only...
They get beaten off screen.
Yep, only the Schroeder brothers, the main antagonists, as it were, actually get any character development. Oddly enough...
and Vivian.
Oddly enough... Okay, so according to data miners, people that have gone into the game and looked at it, there will be an entire world in Duel Links devoted to the Kaiba Corp Grand Prix.
Great. I'm glad to hear
I don't know how. There are certainly enough characters to make it work, but Konami doesn't doesn't like doing anime things unless they have to.
Mhm.
Like, they're going to have to create an entire deck for Balfrey Ginger.
You
And
mean
Abe the Monkey Man.
the fake Harry Potter?
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Barry Ginger.
look. You know what they can do?
I forget. Okay, never mind. There are actually 3 characters introduced in this arc that actually get development. My mistake.
Yeah, Vivian Wong and the 2 losers, and the 2 Lloyd brothers, Siegfried brothers.
The two Schroeder brothers.
Yeah.
Whatever the. You know what? We could just say Germany, but who cares, man?
It's just German.
It's just German. All right. Oh, apparently.
Herr Kaiba.
So in the dub, Mask the Rock's name is Aptnarg Autumn.
Yes, Apnarg Autumn. It's just Grandpa Yugi backwards.
Yep,
It's so funny.
And everyone else in the show, literally everyone, is aware that this is Yugi's grandfather wearing.
Except Joey, because he's a fucking moron.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so what the hell is... Okay, so the only difference... Okay, he didn't even bother to wear a disguise except for the mask. It's just Yugi's grandpa, but he's wearing a mask, Kamina sunglasses, and 6.
Yes, he's wearing the number 6.
And so Joey doesn't recognize Kaiba because he's wearing a 6. I mean,
yeah.
No.
And
Wait,
that's like a pun on his name.
Joey doesn't recognize Grandpa because he's wearing a 6.
Yeah, because like Sugoroku and Mask the Roku means 6. So that's why he's wearing a 6.
Oh, that makes sense. I was watching it. I was like, why is he wearing a 6? But yeah, so so here's the backstory. Yugi's grandpa, he does collect cards. He's not just an old man who does nothing all day. He collects cards himself, and he was really excited about this new card he got. So he called the leaders of the world economy. Hey, hello, Kaiba Corp. I just got a new card. Can I be in your tournament for the best card game boys of all time?
And they just sort of said yes.
And they said yes. I can only assume the reason he said Kaiba boy said yes is solely because
he wanted to see him beat Joey.
Well, there's that.
Solely because he knows Yugi, and he was just like, oh, sure.
So the logic behind this is that supposedly Yugi's grandfather taught Yugi how to be good at card games. But Kaiba dueled Yugi's grandpa in the first episode of the show and won.
Yeah, that's true.
You would think that he would know. Don't believe anything this old man says. He peed himself because I played a dragon. So the contestants are all assigned randomly, and here's another aspect of this season that I apparently do not remember a fucking thing. I was misremembering that they just dueled at the arena the whole time. And
that would have been boring.
And that the landscapes I was remembering were field spells, but I was misremembering. So this is not exactly the straight-up Dragon Ball Z tournament arc that I imagined, but it does still have the KKK member that gets beaten up and disguised as, and 2 kids disguised as him.
Oh, yeah, the freaking magician boy.
I'm fairly certain that did happen in Dragon Ball Z.
Trunks and Goten, they did a thing where they dressed up in a coat.
They stole a dude's costume and impersonated him for the tournament that they weren't allowed to be in otherwise.
Yeah.
Yep. But we're not there yet. We're there as Yugi. No. Joey and Yugi's grandfather dueling in like an Aztec jungle type deal. then the environments can be varied and nonsensical, just like Duelist Kingdom, because we're in an amusement park.
It's a theme park, so, you know.
It's an amusement park, yeah. Yeah, so, Joey Wheeler versus Mask the Rock, or Aptenarg Autumn.
Narg Odom. Oh, it's so dumb, it's funny. It's so dumb, it's funny.
Cause it's Grandpa backwards, you see!
It's not even his real name backwards, it's the word Grandpa backwards.
Yeah, I mean, spelling Solomon backwards probably would have been the most annoying thing ever, so I can
It's just
understand.
Nomalos.
Nomalos!
Aptnarg.
Maybe the writers forgot what his name really was.
You know what? Nomalus Odom sounds like a Latin word. That would actually be a cool name. Nomalos Odom.
Yeah, but instead it's Aptnarg.
Or they could have gone with there's some Yu-Gi-Oh video games where the Konami's localization team just shit themselves and for some reason call Yu-Gi-Oh grandfather Truesdale.
Truesdale?
They could have just called him that.
That's not even his
Where
name.
does Truesdale come from?
I don't know. Just reference the video game, call him that. Have him play an Exodia deck. I guess that wouldn't have worked. He sort of does, though, in a way. So, the whole point of Yugi's grandfather being here is he got a new card, and he wants to show it off. And I guess built an entire deck around it, because he plays a bunch of cards that are real.
Okay.
He plays a bunch of cards that are real until suddenly he doesn't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically, I guess him and Rebecca's grandpa were in some kind of competition to see who could... Yeah, to see who could get all 6 cards to summon the ancient Durgan first, and of course Grandpa won, and that's why he enters a tournament to show them off, literally.
Yeah, so this duel introduces a series of cards called the Ancient Dragon cards. It's basically Yugi summons some rock guys, and he plays a rock temple, and then he puts a key in the rock temple. Then he changes the rock guys into defense mode and then into attack mode again, and that activates a dragon.
Anyway,
Konami has not printed this series of cards at all because mechanically this makes no sense.
Yeah,
You have to place certain cards in a certain order and then switch them into defense mode and then attack. And then the effect of the card's not even that good. Like, there's a synchro monster that you can just summon right off the bat that does this. It's one of the main characters in 5D's cards.
Yeah.
It's one of the signer dragons that the D stands for duelists. Or
like, you could just summon Colossal Fighter and do the same thing.
There's Colossal Fighter, there's Red Archfiend Dragon, there's like a bunch of cards that just attack your opponent's monster, and then all the monsters die.
Oh no, I was thinking about his other effect where he comes back to life after a fight.
Oh, there's that. There's a bunch of cards that do that in this show!
Yeah, okay, basically, I said Colossal Fighter because Colossal Fighter never dies, but Red Dragon Archfiend has the effect where he blows up all the defense issue monsters, so there you go. This card is basically like the bastard child of those two cards.
Yugi's grandfather and Hopkins and Arthur are collectors, and collectors value things based on their rarity, not their worth.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Yugi's grandpa was excited to show off these new cards he got, not because they were good, but because, hey, look at me! I got Exodia! Fuck that! I got worse Exodia!
And then... And anyway, Joey wins.
Yeah.
Joey wins.
Only just, though.
And
Joey
then he gets revealed.
Joey barely wins against the shitty dragon.
And then he reveals that he is actually Grandpa Moto. And Joey is like, what the fuck, bada bing, I didn't know.
Guys, did you know
he said bada bing. He never
Yugi's grandfather?
One at a time, please.
Okay, I wish Joey actually said bada bing. I think he only says it like once, despite the fact that he has the Brooklyn accent of hilarity. But
Well, it's because that voice is the more or less the voice actor's actual voice. So
Anyway.
he doesn't say any Brooklynisms unless the script specifically calls for it.
So yes, and then he wins, and like my brain, I couldn't believe how stupid. Like Joey is a dumbass, and these next two seasons truly show you how stupid. Like this season, how dumb he is. Like he is a dumbass.
Oh yes.
Nothing really says he's a dumbass more than that he still has those Landstar monsters in his
The swordsman a Landstar. Why do I have this card? I could have played something better and used graceful dice on that, but no, instead, swords.
Well, no, actually, in this duel, he does say that Angel's Dice only works on a monster with 500 attack. So.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go. That's why.
Okay, but what about, and hear me out, a monster with 500 attack, but 2,000 defense?
Anyway.
There are quite a couple of those.
Anyway,
so another aspect of this tournament that is sort of unique, but also shitty, is that we are aware of what other duels are happening off screen, but we don't see them.
Yeah.
Obviously, Duelist Kingdom and Battle City had duels going on off screen also, but we didn't really know who or what was happening.
And they didn't really matter.
They didn't really matter. Here, all of the characters we don't care about duel off screen. Leon Wilson, or also known as Leon Evil Femboy Jake Lloyd's brother, who Yugi made friends with earlier, but we don't really know anything about. He dueled Dr. Dick Goat off screen.
Ah, yes, Dr. Richard Goat.
There is literally a character named Richard Goat in Yu-Gi-Oh!, and that is not the only joke he has going on. Despite how little screen time all of the characters introduced in this arc get, they really they threw out every doctor joke they could come up with. He wears surgical gloves. He treats dueling as if he's going into surgery. He has an entourage of nurses.
It's even better than that, right? In his introduction, Isono says that this guy wins duels while performing surgery.
Oh God! But
yep.
yeah, when he's having a particularly stressful moment, he'll do the thing where the doctor asks the nurse to wipe their foreheads. Yep. It's like this is hilarious, and I wish we actually, like, throughout this season, I couldn't make up my mind whether or not the season was meant to be longer in case they needed to stretch it out in case Takahashi took longer than expected for the manga.
You know what? That's fair. That's probably what they were going for.
Or was this just a last minute thing? Like, oh, he's still not done. Let's shit something else out. Like, I want to know: was this arc meant to be as short as it was, or was it really just truncated down?
I think what happened is most likely they order a batch of episodes, right?
Yeah.
Like a certain number of episodes, and season 5 was too short as it was, so they needed to make more fucking episodes.
I just want more backstory on these characters. I want more development with them. I want to know Dick Goat's story. I want to know how many patients have died because he had this particularly stressful card game.
You mean the doc? Are we talking about the doctor?
Yes, we're still talking about Dick Goat.
Dude! Okay, so in the...
Why is his name literally Dick Goat?
Who cares? Let me tell you something. So in the dub, like, I know they did the time of death joke in both versions, but holy they just... No,
I can guarantee you there are plenty of doctor jokes throughout the dialogue from him and his nurses in the subs also, but go on.
they were like, "An apple a day won't keep me away," and I was like, "Oh God!" And then
I don't
he loses
recognize
his,
that
like,
one, but there were a couple.
he's like time of death, and he just like she looks at the clock, 10:30. I'm like, "Oh good," and he's like being strolled away, and I'm just like.
When he loses his duel against Leon, because Leon has main character status, of course he does. His nurses say time of death.
Oh my God! And like he looks exactly like the guy from DNA Surgery. Did you notice? Like with the nurses.
Oh shit! Maybe he's just cosplaying the whole time. He's not actually a doctor. He's just cosplaying as a trap card.
It is so dumb that the amount of.
Oh shit! I just realized there's an entire series of like scientist monsters. Maybe that's what he plays.
He definitely plays that Angel Injection Lily though.
Oh
definitely
yeah.
plays that one.
Yep. Which I guess is another reason why we didn't get to see him duel, because we have seen that card a lot, considering it's just a random card. Like one of the antagonists from the virtual world used it. One of the throwaway characters in the movie used it. Rebecca has it. It's like, wow, somebody really liked this card, and I mean, she is adorable.
Yeah, agreed.
She makes a cat face in the virtual arc.
Yeah.
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 So anyway, Dr. Dick Goat dies. They carry him away on a stretcher. They just had a stretcher in case he lost.
Yeah.
Like this dude, like these guys, like these people were totally kayfabe the whole time. They were prepared for the eventuality that he would lose, so they had a stretcher ready to go.
This is
also,
like,
is it even tournament legal to have assistants during your duel?
I mean, I guess.
I mean, Yugi hangs around all of his friends throughout the whole duels, even though he's technically the prize.
Also, Yugi is 2 people, so I guess that still counts.
Yeah, okay, but what I'm saying is, Yugi is the prize for winning this tournament, is you get to deal with Yugi. So, Yugi should just, like, stay at the arena the whole time, but instead he hangs around whichever of his friends happen to be dueling.
Yeah.
What if he gets injured or lost? Like what almost happens when Rebecca duels. Yeah, so anyway, Dr. Dick Goat loses.
Yes, he dies. And then it's on to Rebecca versus Vivian.
Wait, it is?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So we actually have... Technically, there are 3 duels in episode 189. We only see 1 and 1... Well, I guess we see 2, but the third one doesn't count.
Yeah.
The third one counts less than the one we don't see. We don't even get to see. That's how little it counts. So Rebecca and Chun-Li duel.
Insane Chun-Li.
Yes. I like Vivian. She's got a fun voice. Yeah.
She is insane, and
I love her.
Yeah.
I wish she was a main character. I wish that they just collected friends like Dragon Ball Z or Steven Universe. And that just every antagonist just became a recurring character.
Yeah.
But that's not the world we live in. This is anime. We have a budget. We can't have this many characters on screen at once.
Can't even have Mai in this season, apparently.
Well, no, she does cameo a bunch in the last episode.
She has 2 cameos, and they're like a second each.
Yeah.
Anyway, Vivian plays Kung Fu Ladies.
Vivian plays Kung Fu Ladies and dragons and shit. And Rebecca plays some sort of strategy burn deck. It's like everyone else is playing a fun theme deck, and Rebecca is playing like an actual deck that people would use at a tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So her strategy is basically she brings out I forget what it's called, black hole
Fire
something or
Princess.
other. Well, that too. But yeah, also a trap card called black hole something, which basically stops any level 4 or higher monsters from attacking.
That
Gravity
one is
Bind.
Gravity Bind. It's one.
That's the one.
It's actually a very old card.
Yeah.
Most of these cards are old because the game was broken from the start.
Gravity Bind was a card people used to play a lot back in stall decks until they decided to make links and Xyz, and they don't have levels, so they don't care.
They have at one point Gravity Bind was my only hope because I could not keep up with all these new special summon monsters. Like Fusion Monsters aren't the only ones that come out of the ether. There are Synchro Monsters and Xyz Monsters, and I'm like, fuck you, Gravity Bind. Then they came out with monsters that don't have levels. Shit! Now what do? Nothing! That's what. So apparently, Vivian is the greatest duelist in all of mainland Asia. All of it.
Yeah.
The whole continent. The
Apparently.
largest continent. Supposedly. And yet is continually frustrated by Rebecca's stall burn deck. Is this the first person in all of Asia? This is the first person that in all of Asia, Vivian has never dueled someone with an actually competently built deck.
Yeah, I guess not.
What?
It's because Americans play card games.
Oh my god.
Okay,
so
In the real world, China did get Yu-Gi-Oh card game pretty late because China has a policy about imports. But
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
the show has demonstrated that it's playing a whole different ball game than us. Like there seem to already be 10,000 unique cards printed at this point in the show when it took 20 years after the show ended for it to get to that point. It's like people have been playing this shit for decades, and it literally takes over the world by the end of this show.
Yep.
This is the first time that the greatest duelist in all of China, all of Asia. I'm so frustrated. I've never had to deal with Fire Princess before.
So, in addition to being the American champion versus the Asian champion and all the tension that ensues, also Rebecca and Vivian have a thing where they both like Yugi.
Yeah,
because of course they do.
They are both very wet for Yugi. Both very wet
Well,
for Yugi.
okay, Vivian specifically is wet for duelists with a lot of money. So, like Kaiba and Yugi, apparently.
It seems okay. So, from what I was getting, is she was just impressed by how good they are at card games.
Yes.
Yeah, she like wanted to make them her love slaves or something.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's insane.
Considering Yugi's a minor is pretty weird, but well, actually no.
Kaiba
and Yugi are apparently the same age group, so
yes, they're both minors.
They went to the same high school.
despite
year.
Kaiba being twice Yugi's height, they are the same age.
Yugi is small. In fact, that's okay. Skipping ahead real quick, there's this great moment in Capsule Monsters where Grandpa Moto says, "Hey, wait up! Us Motos have short legs."
Yes, it's very funny.
Yep. Even though in the next arc we're going to see Grandpa.
Doesn't count.
I mean, younger.
Doesn't when he's older. Yeah, he's just a skeleton.
I mean, we do see him. He is in GX.
In Millennium World we see flashback to when he discovered the puzzle.
Anyway, so I can't remember how this duel ends other than Rebecca wins.
Rebecca wins because she is good at this game, and no one else in all of Central Asia is good at this game.
Yeah,
Apparently.
I guess so.
No one else. Not a single one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what happens is Rebecca plays a card that blows up stuff, and they are things.
Sure, okay.
Okay,
Let's go with that.
Basically, Rebecca wins because she's great, and she wins the honor of not sleeping with Yugi. I don't. Neither of these characters has any right to romantic affiliation with Yugi. Like, Yugi's definitely all about that tail life. So I don't know why
they kind of just forced themselves upon him. For some reason, Yugi has this expanding harem that just.
Yeah, but they seem to be very confused. If this was straight up a harem anime, they would all be able to. They would all be able to just molest Yugi whenever they wanted. This is not. That's not the genre we have here.
I mean, Rebecca gets pretty close.
Oh god, can you imagine if Yu-Gi-Oh was a harem anime?
Oh no.
And just all the women characters, including Ishizu, were horny for Yugi all the time.
Oh no. Yeah, Ishizu and Mai and Rebecca and Vivian.
Okay.
Oh no.
I want to see that timeline. I want to see Rick and Morty interdimensional cable. I want a Rick and Morty interdimensional cable up a DVD of Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's a harem anime.
Maybe that's what happens in GX and why Yugi isn't like much of a thing anymore. He's just busy with his harem.
Because when Yugi grows up, he just looks like edit that out.
No.
When Yugi grows up, he just looks like Yami all the time.
The Pharaoh, yeah.
Like Pharaoh all the time. And I guess even though the visual change when he transforms is very distinct, no one notices. So I guess people only notice how hot the Pharaoh is once Yugi is the Pharaoh.
I guess so.
So, just the point is, when he retires from card games, I guess, by the time of GX, he just has so much sex all the time that he just doesn't have time to be a main character anymore.
Okay, yeah, I like that. That's canon.
Yeah. Anyway, and then Femboy Jake Lloyd duels the KKK.
Oh, yeah.
Except not really, because as it turns out, Rex and Weevil have been walking all the way from the hospital to Kaibaland.
Yeah, I guess they, didn't have money for a taxi or anything, so...
Do they not have a savings account? Did they...
Okay, to be fair, remember, they didn't actually come here, legally. They snuck aboard, the luggage in the airplane.
Yeah, but if they should have enough money that they can bribe the police to look the other way.
Do you think these guys thought ahead far enough to bring money with them?
In a bank account?
That they can use in America?
Oh yeah, they're fucked. Yeah, they fucked.
Yeah.
I guess somehow they managed to walk all the way to Kaibaland. I don't know why. Maybe they heard about this tournament at some point and started walking.
Yeah.
And they've just been vagrants this whole time. Weevil has a walking stick.
Yeah.
They look very disheveled. They clearly haven't changed their clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Even less than most characters in this show change their clothes.
Yeah. They have just enough strength to beat up one of the competitors in the bathroom and steal his clothes.
They beat up the KKK member in the bathroom, steal his clothes, and do the two kids standing on the shoulders trick to get into the tournament, and now they're up against Femboy Jake Lloyd. But their disguise falters as they trip. They trip over themselves. Mokuba wants to disqualify him because he's the judge. He does that. He's a very competent judge.
Mm-hmm.
And then Femboy Jake Lloyd is like, no, this amuses me. I will duel these small children pretending to be racist.
Yes. And then he beats them in one turn.
He beats them in one turn, and everyone is really impressed when they should actually be mortified that a single card exists that is just... The effect basically is you just win.
Okay, so I had to sit there and think about it, okay? So based on what we know...
Okay.
So...
basically, the wiki has a synopsis of exactly how this works. It shouldn't, but they have
like
so the card's effects are destroy one of your opponent, one of the monsters Siegfried summons two of, destroys one of the opponent's monsters, and another removes it from the graveyard and takes its attack points.
Yes.
Oh, so that's how they were able to kill both of them and deal 8,000 life points of damage.
Yep. So Femboy Jake Lloyd plays this one card. The effect is summon a bunch of monsters in one turn, and the monsters he summons have the specific effects to destroy the opponent's monsters and inflict them upon the opponent.
Yeah.
So basically, but here's the thing, though, is that the card is like you could summon shitty normal-ass Nillas with no effect, and you would still probably win because it's a very okay. So if it wasn't a tag duel and he had to attack two people and lower their life points, he might have actually been able to win just summoning 4 non-effect monsters and just beating his opponent to death. So, but here, I guess he did need it to strategize a little, except not really, because Ride of the Valkyries summons the cards from his hand, which means he just happened to draw the best cards in his starting hand and win.
Yeah.
He just won.
I mean, all the Orichalcos guys drew the Orichalcos in their first turn.
Yeah,
so,
I'm just so astounded, because everyone seems to think that having Ride of the Valkyries makes him a good duelist. No, it doesn't.
Dude, he just top-decked into 5 stupid cards and won. It's dumb.
It just means he has a lot of money. He has a lot of money, and he bought one good card and a bunch of less good cards that are also really broken. He's not a good duelist. He just has money. Screw the rules. I have money.
Literally, yes.
Yes. Just like fucking Weevil and Rex's one turns seemed more impressive to me because, like, they had strategy going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they had a whole thing to bring out their strongest monsters.
Weevil summoned a monster that when it's destroyed, it summons a big monster. And then you destroyed it with a card that destroys it. And then he summoned Insect Queen, which I guess he still has. Technically, the Orichalcos guys never came and took their cards back.
Yeah.
And then Rex is all like, hey, here's a monster. I'm going to smash it with a pill. And it's going to take the pill, and it's going to turn into a big boy. And it turned into a big boy, and this isn't even a card we've seen Rex play before, but it's cool. And then Femboy Jake Lloyd is like, oh, yes, but I have this one card. And then he wins.
Yep. Indeed.
And he wins.
So, yeah.
Ride of the Valkyries. Just wins.
Yep.
Oh, and the theme song for this card that plays is literally just Ride of the Valkyries.
Yep. It's not even a remix or anything. It's just like the classic version that you have heard.
I mean, it works. It's hilarious. The card is stupid.
Yep. And that theme song plays anytime.
And the name of the card. The name of the card is Valkyrian Rich.
Which is just German for Ride of the Valkyries.
Oh, it's German. I thought they
interesting thing. all of Siegfried's cards are in German for some fucking reason.
For some,
Yeah,
okay, I thought they just localized it wrong, and this was the romanization that they went with. If it's the German translation, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
and even better than that, like...
I understand he's from Germany, so all his cards are in German.
It all
But,
works.
that's interesting, because, like, in real... I think the only time you'd be able to do that is if you were playing, in the World Tournament. I guess they are playing the World Tournament, because there are Worlds Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments, or there used to be, right? So, I guess that would be the only time it'd be legal to play cards from other regions.
I guess so.
I don't think in within the anime they have rules against playing in different regions.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But, like, now that you think about it, why are Rebecca's cards still in Japanese?
Actually, I'm not sure we ever see that they
weeb.
are.
Because she's a weeb.
Do we ever see that her cards are in Japanese, actually?
Japanese?
Yes.
I don't know. Wait, don't we? Because, like, she flips up Gravity Bind, and I'm certain they put it in Japanese.
Yeah, we see her cards. They're in Japanese because she's a weeb and she imports all of her cards from Japan.
Maybe America in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds just doesn't have a card games producing factory. But Germany does.
No, that makes no sense because
Pegasus is factory
is America. Pegasus
Okay,
is
And
America.
he makes them all in Japanese because he's a weeb.
Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Rebecca is a weeb and imports all of her cards in Japanese, even though it's more expensive. Because also her dad is a big ol' archaeologist man, probably is loaded. And by dad, I mean grandpa. Because no one has parents.
Yeah.
Why aren't they just their dads?
Because they're old.
King of the Hill, though.
Old.
Honest to God, I don't think Rebecca's grandfather seems about as old as Hank Hill.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't complain. My dad's side of the family is full of old people.
Yeah. Parents are older than you think.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Fucking Ride of the Valkyries!
Yes.
Anyway, let's see. And then
it's not long before we get to see it again, because next up, after some filler duels that we don't see, is Joey and Siegfried.
Is Down in Flames. So let's see.
That's
Joey
the one that takes place in Hell.
Yeah, it takes place inside of a volcano.
Yeah.
So all of the duels in this series take place in and around one of Kaiba Land's attractions. This takes place within the volcano in one of the roller coasters.
Yeah.
One of the roller coasters, I guess, goes through a volcano because it's fun, and they duel in the volcano.
Yeah.
Vivian and Rebecca, I think, were just dueling on the monorail.
On opposite platforms.
They were just
next to the monorail.
They were just dueling on on opposite train platforms, with the train running in between them.
Yeah.
This is silly. Her next duel, she's going to be on a Ferris wheel with a monkey man.
Oh yeah, that happens. Anyway,
but we're not there.
So back to the volcano.
Wait, no, that is in this episode, isn't it?
Oh, it might be actually. But anyway, volcano time.
Yeah. So the duels in this. The duels going on right now are Joey versus Femboy, Sherlock Holmes versus Harry Potter, Rebecca versus Monkey Man, not Mako versus Leon.
Ah, right, yes.
How bizarre is it that there are now two characters that could have just been Mako, but they decided to make new characters instead? There have been two characters that were not Mako in Yu-Gi-Oh! In filler arcs.
Yeah, anyway,
There's Raphael, who has the same backstory as Mako, and then there's this guy who has... We don't know his backstory, but his character is clearly just not Mako. I want more Mako! I need more Mako in my life, damn it!
Is this the Australian guy? Are we talking about Australia? Mad
Ethan
Max
Shark.
the
Ethan
Mad
Shark.
Max parody?
Okay, sorry. His name is Shark. That makes me think he's Mako. He's more of a Mad Max parody than a Mako parody. Never mind.
Yeah. He's
Anyway,
Australian.
Anyway,
I'm just very angry that we know nothing about any of these characters.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
who cares? They all lose except for C. Anyway, okay, all the losers lose. The only duel here that's relevant is Siegfried versus Joey. And Joey
Yes.
fucking loses because he gets beamed.
Joey fucking loses because his whole entire duel strategy is based around luck. But here's the thing that I found it very interesting about this duel is that Siegfried plays a lockdown strategy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually so efficient that the only way to win was luck. So, but ironically, Joey loses.
Yep.
In a duel where a luck-based strategy is actually the most efficient play, he actually loses this time. What the fuck?
His luck just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, the whole time, Siegfried is just like, "Oh, the goddess of luck smiles upon me and my sexy hair. Oh, aren't I great?" Yeah. So,
and also Siegfried keeps looking off to the side to see that if the security camera's watching him. And Joey gets very annoyed at that.
He's very narcissistic.
Yeah.
He wants to make sure not only is he the one who is hacking Kaiba Land, he wants Kaiba to figure it out.
Yeah, he's you watching me, Kaiba?
It's like this is a game to him.
Yeah.
Even though later we find out he has actual motivations beyond boredom.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say he has motivations.
I think they wrote this arc as they went along.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think they had a plot. I don't think they wrote out the plot all the way through while they were working on it. Because he goes from being just some bored psychopath to being a has-been.
Yeah. He has a character and a backstory and everything. He
has a sympathetic backstory and what the fuck?
Yep.
This arc is 12 episodes long. How did they lose the plot so bad from point A to point B?
Oh, I mean, it could just be, as you said earlier, that they couldn't plan it out because they didn't know how long it was going to be.
Look at this guy. He's Hannibal Lecter. He's just fucking with Kaiba because he's bored. Oh, no, he's not fucking with Kaiba because he's bored. He's fucking with Kaiba because he lost all of his money or something. Or whatever. Fuck, okay.
Anyway, so he wins against Joey.
Yeah,
Joey's real down and out about it.
Yeah, Joey, so Siegfried has, these 3 specific cards that make it so that, basically 3 cards out of Joey's deck get milled every season. Just get thrown into the trash. Every turn. So, it's a very efficient strategy, but Joey plays through luck, and he has this bingo machine, that will let him have
Dangerous Machine Type 6.
Yep, it lets him draw a card that Siegfried doesn't get to ruin, and luck does not smile on Joey on this day, and he does lose.
Yep.
But he puts up a good fight.
He does.
He puts up a good fight, and then Siegfried draws fucking Fly Valkyrie skins.
Yep.
I mean, no, not this time. He actually does play Ride of the Valkyries, but doesn't immediately win. So that's something. But what is this? It looks like the card that he plays that makes him win this time is Enchanted Sword Nothing and Rainbow Bridge Bifrost.
Oh yeah, he plays the Sword of Killing Dragons or whatever.
Okay, so his lockdown strategy when I say it throws all of Joey's cards in the trash, I mean it. It took 20 years for the game to work out how this mechanic works, but Joey's cards were removed from play, as it's called at the time.
Yeah, they were banished.
Nowadays, we call that banished, because removed from play implies that they don't have to do with the game no more.
Well,
They're deader than dead.
Well, I mean, originally when something was banished, it just never came back. There was like no way. And then later they made shit so you could.
They fucked out. They fucked up removed from play from a couple years in. One of the cards. So there is an equip spell. It's a sword that absorbs the strength of all the banished monsters, like what Raphael had, but worse, because it doesn't... It's basically the same, really. It's basically the same. And he plays it, and he wins.
Yeah. Yep.
And everyone's really impressed, like, oh, Siegfried, he's such a good duelist, because he has money.
Yep. Okay. So, yeah, moving on then, I guess.
And he's not actively doing anything to Kaiba Land's computers no more, but it's still he implanted a Trojan virus in that computer duel with the dragons earlier.
Yeah.
So halfway through his duel with Joey, all of the rides start fucking up. Apparently, the volcano is not supposed to erupt.
Why does it have an erupt function?
Why does it have an erupt function?
Yeah, I have no idea.
And like everything else that happens to the people is reasonable. Like Barry Ginger and Sherlock Holmes are like, okay, so they're playing on a stage, and then the blast doors go down.
Yeah.
And the Ferris wheel that Rebecca and Monkey Man are dueling on shakes.
It just sort of stops and shakes a bit.
They experience turbulence. And then I don't know and then something probably happens to Barry Shark, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, earlier when Joey was on his way to his duel with Aptenarg, they got into a bunch of, like, forest traps. Most of them were apparently solid vision, but Joey just, fell down a pit. Just a real pit.
Oh,
could have broken his neck.
So, apparently, when Joey was supposed to head out to his duel with Grandpa...
He was getting hot dogs.
He went to get hot dogs instead, and Mokuba just turned around and had this look of mortification on his face, just like, oh my god, you fucked up my brother's tournament so bad just now.
It's just like, Joey, what the hell are you doing here? If you don't get to the duel arena in 5 minutes, you will be disqualified.
So he bolts after it, and then that just makes Mokuba angrier because there was a secret maintenance tunnel they could have taken. Mokuba was about to say, Joey, you can just... We have to have maintenance tunnels to get to places easier, man. You can just use those. It's an amusement park, not an actual jungle.
But Joey runs off before Mokuba can say it.
Joey's such an idiot. There's a reason why Kaiba hates him.
Yep.
But
he also was eating 2 hot dogs before his fucking duel started.
I would joke, were the hot dogs worth it, Joey? But it's just an animation error. But I want to believe it's canon that the hot dogs regrow between frames. Kaiba has solved world hunger with self-regrowing meat.
Yes. Oh, I love them.
Kaiba is the most powerful man in all of anime. He solved world hunger and brought about world peace. No, all conflict is fought with card games. No one goes hungry.
Yeah. And he invented jetpacks.
And renewable energy.
Oh, yeah.
We're not there yet. But in 5Ds, card games can literally generate power.
Oh boy, I'm looking forward to that. Anyway,
Yeah.
so, getting back
People
to the
go
show.
to military school to learn to play card games.
So we're down to 4 semi-finalists. We got Siegfried versus Balfrey Ginger, which we don't get to see, and then Rebecca versus Leon.
I really want to see femboy Jake Lloyd beat Harry Potter into the ground. Can you
Well,
imagine? Can you imagine just getting to see Anakin Skywalker beat Harry Potter into the ground?
I mean, that would be great, but
in
no.
real life, I want to see the real life Jake Lloyd have a boxing match with Daniel Radcliffe right now. Right now.
Oh boy.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Femboy Jake Lloyd versus Valkyrie Ginger. Are they like in a haunted house or something?
something like that, yeah.
And Rebecca and Leon are in a mini land.
Yeah, it's the place with all the little model houses and stuff.
It's a place with little model houses and stuff. I think this is supposed to be a reference to Legoland Miniland. But
Probably.
you can't just walk around those. But I mean, it's cool here.
Yeah.
So anyway, this I think is like the first time we actually see any of Leon's cards.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like the only indication of what Leon plays that we've gotten so far is I never even got a chance to duel.
Yeah.
Which I thought was in reference to the really broken-ass field spell he plays later on, but he literally doesn't have that in his deck yet. So, again, I think they wrote this as they went along.
Yeah.
Like, they basically just thought, hey, and what if he just has this one card that you play it and your opponent loses?
Yeah. Oh my god. My god.
Anyway, he's dueling Rebecca, and he's got fairy tale cards.
Rebecca's about to do that thing that she does, but Leon is all like, and then I play the wolf that ate Red Riding Hood's grandmother.
Yeah, so okay.
Forest wolf.
Okay,
Yep.
I was gonna say, right, so he's got a fairy tale deck, but from his first few moves, you could be forgiven for thinking it was like a Vor deck. Because
Like a
his first monster just eats the opponent's monster, and then his second one like inflates the opponent's monster and makes it explode.
no, that's all. Oh yeah. So
yeah, but I mean, to be fair, those are both
wolf.
things. Those are both things that happen in those fairy tales.
That is true.
So Forest Wolf is the wolf that ate Red Riding Hood's grandmother, and what it does is when it attacks a monster, it literally eats them.
Yep.
In a cartoony fashion, and he also has a spell card that is just the Hansel and Gretel gingerbread house, and what it does is it eats the opponent's monsters and spits them out, and now they're fat. They're stuffed with candy now, and they
have
explode.
More than 2,500 attack, they explode.
They explode. Leon also plays some other cards that I don't recognize from any fairy tales that all have like a rose thick. Curse of Thorns is apparently from Sleeping Beauty. Okay.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I think he mentioned it at some point.
Okay, so remember how when Sleeping Beauty goes to sleep, their castle gets like encased in thorns everywhere? And...
Okay, so what you're saying is that the child plays a straight up fetish deck then?
Yes.
I mean, I guess maybe all fairy tales are just secret fetish field.
All of his cards we see in this duel are about bondage and inflation.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. See, fairy tales are the reason why people have fetishes. It's all.
Oh my god, it all makes sense now.
It all makes sense. Anyway, so let's see. Glyph the Phantom Bird. What fairy tale is this from?
I don't freaking know.
It's from a German fairy tale, literally just called the Griffin.
Oh, okay.
Which means the card is probably actually supposed to be called the Griffin.
Rather than the glyph or the glyph.
Kaisho Gurafu.
Gonafu. Yeah, I guess that's supposed to be Griffin. I don't know.
Somebody at Yu-Gi-Oh really needs to learn how to localize correctly.
Yeah. Anyway,
Agreed.
so
there are cards whose English names are just German, like Death Volstaff. So they could have named this monster Der Vogelgreif. Grief?
I guess.
I'm looking at it right now. That's what German for Dagrufen is.
Well,
I wonder if this kid has a card of the donkey skin girl from Wolf Among Us. There's an obscure fairy tale called the Donkey Skin Girl, and the game Wolf Among Us. It's a detective story about fairy tale creatures. Where the big bad wolf has to solve a murder, and the girl that got murdered was apparently from the fairy tale The Donkey Skin Girl.
Okay.
There's a guy going around murdering obscure fairy tale characters. Yeah.
Okay.
And the main characters are all Disney movies.
Anyway,
we're not talking about The Wolf Among Us. We're talking about The Wolf Among Us, but card games.
Speaking of Disney movies, Cinderella.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was literally a card. They don't even dance around it, except they do because she dances. Her name is Cinderella. She's just Cinderella from the movie Cinderella.
And then
from the folktale of Cinderella.
No, the movie.
Yeah, so he plays Cinderella. Her fairy godmother gives her the glass slippers, and then he
and
throws
the pumpkin carriage.
The pumpkin carriage allows Cinderella to attack directly. And after it attacks with the glass slippers, you can equip them to another monster. And if that monster isn't Cinderella, it hurts them because the shoes don't fit.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
He puts the glass slippers on a dragon.
He puts on Luster Dragon number 2. And I can't. How does Jake wins? Needless to say. But I don't remember how. Someone remember how he wins?
You mean Leon, right?
Leon, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm getting confused now.
You could just say boy. Okay, he plays the card Gold Moon Coin.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? What did that do?
It's Pot of Greed, but it's Pot of Greed, but it's Pot of Greed. It's basically Pot of Greed.
But what does that do?
Oh shit, you're right. I think it lets you win. You just win.
Oh, okay, right.
That's okay, so he summons darts from the last arc. Why?
What?
Okay, he summons a monster called Thorn Princess that just looks like darts.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. It's like they literally just reused the character model, the character sheet, but added boobs.
Oh wow, yeah, that does look
Look
pretty
at her. It's like she's even wearing it. She's wearing a headband with a stone on it.
Did they even print Thorn Princess?
No, of course not.
They printed half of Leon's cards, but not the other half.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Unlike Siegfried. With Siegfried, they printed all of his cards and then they had to make more because there wasn't enough.
Yeah, it's really weird because Leon's backstory is that he really liked fairy tales and he wrote Pegasus a letter and Pegasus made, Hey Pegasus, I really like fairy tales. Can you make cards based on the fairy tales? And then Pegasus made literally all the cards based on all the fairy tales and sent them all to Leon because Rebecca has never seen any of these cards. Yep. And we see that Leon has way more than 40 cards mailed to him. So it looks like Pegasus literally did send him the world's supply of card games based on fairy tales.
Yeah.
We know that at that point Pegasus was able to read minds and was able to read minds remotely. So I guess Pegasus probably thought, well, I don't want to distribute these cards, and I know you don't have any friends, so here, have all of them.
I guess
He
so.
just sends dozens of extra copies of all of the cards. To the point where Leon is just sitting in a big pile of them in the backstory.
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah.
It's fucking great. But yeah,
speaking of that scene, actually, apparently Leon was like visibly younger when Duelist Kingdom took place.
Yeah.
How long ago is that supposed to be?
I think they forgot.
It seems like a few months.
I think they really lost it. He aged several years in a month?
Yes. Well, I mean, Rebecca did too, so it's okay.
Does
and so did
Germany
Siegfried.
revolve around the sun at a different rate than Japan?
Yes.
It's like every country on Earth revolves around the sun at a different rate. It's like Rebecca looks practically as old as Yugi. Yugi looks like a child. Rebecca looks... Hell, fuck, you could probably be excused for thinking Rebecca looks older than Yugi. The way she dresses.
Yeah.
It's just like, Leon apparently aged up several years in a couple months. Kaiba looks like he's a full-grown adult, but he's the same age as Yugi.
Yep.
Like, dear God, like, Raphael looks like he's in his fucking 30s at the earliest, and he was apparently playing card games when he was a kid. What the fuck? I'm so
I love it.
And it's okay. No, not even different countries, like different states of America. Like every region on Earth, the whole world is just
every individual person ages at a different rate.
What does the Earth's orbit and rotation look like in the universe of Yu-Gi-Oh? Does the Earth just rotate around itself like a fucking twisty top thing?
Every now and again, you grab the Earth at both ends and you just twist it, wring it out, squeeze all the ocean out.
The Earth's rotation is less like a circle spinning around a bigger circle and more like a tesseract revolving around itself. Dear God!
Yes. Anyway, so Leon wins.
The timeline is so fucked, and this show doesn't even have time travel yet.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention like why Rebecca's not on top form. It's because Yugi's not there. And Yugi's not there because Grandpa got kidnapped.
So here's what happened. Yugi's grandpa's back broke again. He's old. After his duel with Joey, his back broke. And then he got kidnapped from the hospital because he always gets kidnapped. That's his deal.
Yes, by Vivian, resident crazy hot lady.
Yugi and his friends went to look for Grandpa, and I don't know where they got the impression they could even do that. They could just call security to look for him. That's what they do.
Yeah, but they get a message
People lose people at amusement parks all the time. There's literally an episode of Full House about it.
Look, okay, Grandpa they get a message like an overhead, whatever the announcer calls, and he's like, we got an old man here, and then they're like, oh my God, it's Grandpa! And
it's like the plot was resolved by a real world thing that just happened. It's like, someone left an old man here.
And then they find the letter telling them to go to the Chinese restaurant, and then they go to the Chinese restaurant, and it turns out, Grandpa is helping Vivian. And Vivian wants to turn Yugi into their sex slave, and she's like, no, and he's like, no, and Taya's really mad. But everyone else is just like, hey, even if you lose, you get some pussy. And then he's just like...
Well, and also, for some reason, they're dueling in a Chinese restaurant.
Well, I mean, she is China.
And it's full... The food is fully laid out.
Yeah, and literally just everyone is eating, and no one seems to really care. Of food. No one seems to give a crap. My favorite line is when Joey... Okay, so there's a scene where while they're dueling, she summons Dragon Lady, and Yugi's gonna get hit, and then Joey's just like, "Oh no! If Dragon Lady hits Yugi, you lose the duel. You can tell he just doesn't actually care, but he's pretending he
My
does.
favorite-
He's just
My
munching.
favorite line is Joey and Tristan are eating the food because they're Joey and Tristan, and Taya is not eating the food because she's angry about the horny lady trying to steal her boyfriend. But then Joey and Tristan are like, "You should eat the food; it's really good." And then Taya's all like, "It is."
Yes.
Really, it is. Oh wow, really? Chinese food is good? I had no idea.
And then it literally says, like Joey literally says, "Hey, even if Yugi loses, he gets."
Yeah, like the stakes in this
like,
duel
Jesus Christ, the
are-
stakes here could never be lower.
and
No one cares.
just like. Yeah, so like this duel happens mostly off screen. We only see like half of the duel because they just like we just like flash back and forth between Rebecca and Leon's duel and Yugi and Vivian, and Yugi's grandpa is calling her Vivi-chan because she is apparently a licensed chiropractor and fixed his back for him.
Yeah, I guess she is a chiropractor. I don't know how it works. Who cares?
She basically she's
China. That's it.
She kung fu's his back.
She jabs her hand into a specific pressure point in his back that really helps him feel good. But she breaks his back again if Yugi doesn't duel her. So basically, Yugi is dueling for his grandfather's poor old man back, and Vivian is dueling for her pointy-haired sex slave.
Yes.
Also, what happens if Vivian wins? Is Yugi just not tournament property anymore? I don't understand.
Yeah, at that point, he's property of Vivian to do with as she pleases.
Yeah, so this is another. I don't like. Yugi is uncomfortable with the situation, but I mean, no one else in the world would be. Like, most people would probably be like, "Wait, so you are want to treat my friends to lunch, fix my grandfather's back, and to make love to me in increasingly kinky ways? Why am I upset with this?
Because he's Yugi.
Because
he's too
in
pure.
love. He's in love with Taya, obviously,
He's too pure for this shit.
and monogamy and all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Yugi wins because has Vivian ever actually seen this boy duel? Or does she just think, is she just aware that he's good at card games and that makes her wet? Because her entire strategy apparently revolves around dumping dragon cards in the graveyard. Vivian, I don't know if you're aware of this. Yugi plays a card called Dark Paladin. It takes the dragons in the graveyard and it punches you with them.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
The card was specifically designed so that Yugi would have a monster that could defeat Blue Eye's ultimate dragon. That is its entire gimmick. Is it can kill you if you run too many dragons in your deck, you will die.
Yep.
So she's all like, you can't possibly stop me with all these dragons in my graveyard. Oh yeah, Buster Blader, go! Ah, fuck.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the actual tournament.
But
that's happening.
so she's a woman of her psychotic word, and she fixes Yugi's grandpa's back. Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's who she reminds me of.
Yeah, she
That's
is
who
very
reminds
Azula. Yeah.
Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Anyway,
But she has the tiny pressure points.
okay, so she can be multiple. She can be multiple characters from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yep. Anyway, so back to the actual tournament.
Yugi goes on to cheer for Rebecca in the last turn of the duel, and it's not enough.
Yep.
Because
He didn't cheer hard enough, and she lost.
Rebecca is not that upset about it because she's, have you seen how she dresses? She's a professional businesswoman now. But she can apparently cry on command and pretends to be sad about it so that she can snuggle with Yugi, which is, again, it would be cute if he was as old as he looked, but it's just kind of weird.
Yeah. Well. Anyway,
but
so it's supposed to be Siegfried versus Leon in the finals. But Kaiba comes in on his freaking jetpack or whatever.
Narratively, it wouldn't have made any sense because these two characters, their motivations are aligned completely.
Yeah, they wouldn't have cared who won.
Yeah.
They'd have just kept the duel going for as long as possible.
Kaiba shows up on a helicopter, forgetting he has a jetpack. Or maybe, you know what? Here's the thought. What if Kaiba burned the entire world's supply of jetpack fuel just to show up at the beginning of this tournament?
Yep, canon.
So he shows up again on the helicopter and I guess has to announce, all right, everybody, there is no longer any jetpack fuel. The world's only working jetpack no longer works because it uses a rare fuel that no longer exists. I bring you femboy Jake Lloyd is disqualified. I'm gonna kick his ass now.
Yeah.
Who the fuck cares? The
rules... He literally comes in to say Sega's disqualified because he entered under a fake name, but also I'm gonna kick his ass just to put him in his place.
Corporate espionage. Well, okay, so and then we get the backstory, I guess.
Or something.
Yeah. All right. So the Schroeder Corporation was a competing military company with Kaiba Corp, and then they weren't. Then they were a gaming company, but apparently, Siegfried had made the decision to become a gaming company before Kaiba Corp did.
Like the day before. It wasn't long.
The day before. And, so that's weird. Now, apparently, Siegfried also developed holographic card game technology the day before Kaiba did.
Yep.
And was about to show it to Pegasus, and then Kaiba beat him to it again.
Yep.
Amusingly, it seems like Siegfried had designed the duel box from... Okay, so the manga never really had these big duel arena stadium looking things. The manga had glass boxes that you dueled in around a table, like a real card game, but holograms would happen above the cards. And it was not nearly as impressive as the dual discs, but also the dual discs couldn't be introduced right off the bat, so they came up with, well, what if Duelist Kingdom's just covered in giant arenas?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, the dual boxes were featured in Season 0, but not extensively. But yeah, Siegfried developed the technology for the holograms that Studio Nos skipped. So that's amusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so turns out he's not hacking Kaiba Land out of boredom, as the original flashbacks we saw indicated, where Kaiba flashback to the time he met this pink-haired boy that was emotionless and cold inside, dead inside. No, he's just like, Kaiba Corp took everything from me.
Yeah, his whole thing is that he's always been one step behind Kaiba, and that just ruins him.
Yeah, and keeping up with that. So Siegfried plays all the broken-ass shit that he's been playing, and then... This is amazing, is that Kaiba's cards here are pretty broken, but he actually wins strategically.
Yeah.
Like... It's incredible. Like, most of the cards Kaiba plays are cards that, if you played them, you'll win. Except he's playing against a guy whose deck is entirely based around cards that if you play them, you win.
Yeah.
So like
it's two
what
broken decks against each other.
So what happens is most of Kaiba's blue eyes are in the banish zone, so he banishes the rest of them, and Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the End makes its debut.
One of the most broken cards in all of Duel Monsters shows up.
This is one of the cards that started the ban list. Before this point, you could play whatever the fuck Yu-Gi-Oh card you wanted in official Konami-sponsored tournaments, and then Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the End came about, a card that you pay 300 life points. Or wait, no, I think it was you pay 1,000 and destroy all the cards. Okay, never mind. The anime effect is identical. You pay 1,000 life points, destroy every card on the field. Your opponent takes 300 points of damage for every card. Pretty broken.
Yep.
Pretty broken.
Yeah.
Also, the card is called Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the End, and I find that to be fitting because it's one of the last cards introduced in the show.
Yeah.
Also, it's the end of the fucking world.
It's pretty close to the end. It's pretty close to the end of the arc.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, the name is reference to this is a very apocalyptic effect it's got going on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kaiba summons a bunch of monsters in one turn and wins.
He really does. He plays several banned cards, actually, because, you know, Dimension Fusion is also banned for this exact reason.
Yep, yeah. So he banishes a bunch of cards, then he plays Dimension Fusion. It's basically Return from a Different Dimension, but permanent. And, yeah, so Siegfried has one monster with attack points. It gains attack points for every dragon on the field. Kaiba just summoned a bunch of dragons. That seems like a bad idea, don't you think? Well, you know what? What he does is, he attacks with some dragons, intentionally killing them and losing and draining his own life points to lower its attack points.
And then
so that eventually he can kill it.
Yeah, with the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And he wins.
Yeah, and he kills it with blue eyes and he wins. And then he attacks directly, and then Siegfried's all like, oh shit. Why do they
I actually love the way that this duel ends, actually, because Kaiba brings out his 3 blue eyes, and the opponent's monster is 300 points stronger than a single blue eyes. So what he does is he attacks it with 1 blue eyes, lowers his own life points through that, and then it has the same attack points as his second blue eyes, so he attacks it with that, kills them, they knock each other out, and then he uses his last blue eyes to attack the opponent directly and wipe him out.
Yeah,
this is so cool. This is so cool. This is the way people duel in the tournament, in the meta now. I used to when I played card games, I would not attack my opponents if they had a monster that would just destroy mine. But in real life, what you do is, if you're going to win, you do it.
Yeah.
You just do it.
Yeah.
If you have two monsters on the field and your opponent has one monster on the field, you just suicide into the one, and then you get a free reign to the void.
Yep.
You do it.
You do it.
You do it. And yeah, Siegfried loses because of course he does.
Yep.
But we get it. We see it. He was about to play the card that would have ruined Kaiba's whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
We see it in his hand. He has the Disney Castle of Stromboli.
Yep. And,
so,
the final
of
this arc is coming up next.
Yeah. So but first he hands off the Disney Castle of Stromboli to the Disney Princess Boy, who happens to be his brother. Obvious. Obvious plot twist.
Who could have guessed that Leon would be involved with the villain in some way?
Who would have guessed? It's not like they're the only characters introduced this arc who have any character whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
anyway,
Yugi duels the guy who sort of won, and
won by default.
Won by default. But so Leon has always wanted to duel Yugi, but suddenly he seems depressed about it.
Yeah.
And Yugi's all like, what gives? What's up? And then Kaiba is like, ah, shit. Well, no, Kaiba's goons are all like, ah, shit. They kept researching the competitors, found out, Leon's a bad boy too.
Yep.
Leon is also Schroeder.
Yep.
And then Kaiba and Siegfried are just standing above everyone else. Okay, so the attraction that they're dueling on and around this episode is it's like the castle that's at the center of every Disney park.
Yeah, it's the Blue Eyes Castle, because
Blue Eyes Castle.
that's literally what they call it. And so I love this because this is just a total fuck you to Pegasus with his castle on Duelist Kingdom.
Yes, Blue Eyes Castle.
Yeah.
There's a Blue Eyes roller coaster. There's a Blue Eyes train. There's a there are Blue Eyes balloons. There are Blue Eyes hats. There's a Blue Eyes castle.
There's a Blue Eyes dome.
Yeah.
He really likes the Blue Eyes. Yeah, the duel they've been dueling in this whole time is a Blue Eyes dome.
Yeah.
And there's statues to the Blue Eyes. There's just Blue Eyes everywhere. Blue Eyes.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Anyway,
and it's not. There's Dark Magician stuff also around the place, but it's mostly Blue Eyes.
Yep.
Like this is less a Kaiba theme park and more a Duel Monsters theme park, but it's less a Duel Monsters theme park as a Blue Eyes theme park.
I like to think that as soon as Yugi left, Kaiba was like, right, tear down all the Dark Magician stuff. Just keep the Blue Eyes stuff.
Burn every Dark Magician hat in this park.
Yeah.
Kaiba, those sold out really.
We will later see in GX just how far Kaiba's spite for Yugi truly goes.
From literally day one.
Oh dear. Anyway. So.
But yeah, it's fucking Disney. Fucking. Yeah, so Leon plays Disney and got Red Riding Hood and.
Yeah, he summons Red Riding Hood.
He summons Red Riding Hood, and Yugi's like, a punch.
Yep. But yeah, so Leon plays the illegal field spell Golden Castle of Stromberg.
Yeah. So the card is illegal in the anime universe.
Yeah, it's supposed to just be like a commemorative, decorative card.
Yeah,
it's not supposed to be actually played.
You cannot play it. In real life, there is a class of cards called illegal cards. You literally cannot play them. It's not that they're on the ban list. It's just that you don't play them.
Yeah, there are cards that are like event cards. Like for example, a lot of the Konami.
Yasushi, the Skull Knight!
Yeah, Konami prints these cards that you get for winning tournaments. They're called match winners, and they're like one of a kind, right? So there's like, they usually go for like literally $10,000 on eBay. But there's stuff like Lorelei, the Symphonic Arsenal, Zex, the something. You can look them up. They're called match winners, and they're basically Victory Dragon, which was a card that was real.
And oddly enough, exists in anime canon.
Yeah. They're all illegal in that you can never play them. They literally say this card cannot be used in a duel at the bottom of that.
And I don't know why. I don't know why they say that.
Because they would have to ban all of them, so they just make them illegal.
Why couldn't they just add just a single listing for any card that says match winner in the text?
I don't know. Who fucking cares? Well, the point is you can't play them.
These cards are weird, and for some reason, at least one of them does exist in anime canon, even though nobody actually plays matches.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a match is it's best 2 out of 3.
And
you duel twice in a row, and whoever wins, who best 2 out of 3. Everyone knows how that works.
Yes.
Yeah, and after the first round, you got to put in cards from your side deck to counter your opponent's deck.
Yep. And as we mentioned earlier, a side deck is just cards you carry around that you put in your deck. It's just cards. It's just cards. I'm confused by all of it. Anyway.
Yeah, so the reason that Leon is even able to play this card and have its hologram show up is that Siegfried hacked the system earlier, remember? And he specifically made it so that this card would be recognized as a legal card.
And he changed
not only that,
Yes.
even though there is a reason he picked this card, it's very powerful. He decided to make it even more powerful by fucking with the card data.
So your opponent has to pay the cost instead of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also it cannot be destroyed by anything.
It cannot be destroyed by anything, but everything else that it does is pretty much what it really does.
Yeah.
It's a very overpowered card.
Mm-hmm.
This card is real now.
Also, it's a computer virus.
Yeah.
This card is real now. I was surprised when I first saw it in Duel Links.
But the version
what the fuck? That's real now?
Yeah, but the version that is real is like what it was originally supposed to be, and not Siegfried's bonkers version where your opponent has to pay the thing. You have to pay.
Yeah,
the
but
cost.
see the thing. the thing is though it's very good.
It also only works specifically on Leon's fairy tale cards. It does not work on any card like
in
the
original version. Anime it appears to be generic. You can, in addition to your normal draw, you can also special summon any level 4 or lower monster from your deck just whenever.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be bonkers.
And your opponent cannot attack you, or else their monster is destroyed and they lose life points.
And also they have to attack you.
I don't know if that part's real.
That's what it is in the anime.
It's probably hacks.
Yeah, that's hacks. Definitely the original effect was... The original effect was definitely you could summon a level 4 from the deck, and if your opponent attacks you, it blows up, and they lose half the attack points of the monster blows up. And you have to pay the cost of half your deck every turn.
Yeah, so what its effect is now is that you can only special summon a card that specifically mentions Golden Castle of Stromberg in its text, and all of Leon's cards have specific effects that play if Golden Castle of Stromberg is on the field.
Yeah. And it should be mentioned that what is it called? Instead of milling the top half of your deck, instead of doing that, the real card says banish 10 cards from your deck, and if you cannot pay this cost, it blows up.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in real life, what Yugi does with it to get rid of it eventually would still work. It's just different now. Because
I'm pretty sure
in real life.
Oh, sorry.
In real life, sending cards into your graveyard is practically not a cost anymore. Like there are decks that revolve around doing that to yourself.
You can play Lightsworn, so that does that.
So,
they don't give a shit.
Yeah, and banishing cards by itself, as we mentioned, used to mean something, but now it really doesn't. But
it still does, depending on what your deck is.
But banishing cards face down is meant to be the actual. Yeah, that card is just gone.
Yeah, literally, if you banish something face down, you can't play it at all from anything.
Yeah.
The only thing you can hope for is to play Necroface and return it to you.
Yeah. So there are cards that their effect goes off when they're banished, or if a monster card is banished, then you can have affect it from outside of it and summon it and stuff. If it's face down, no.
Yeah.
There is only one card in the game that has an effect where you can just take any card that's banished and just put it back in your deck.
Yeah,
There's one card that does it. It's one card that does it. It's the baby that Dark Necrofear holds.
Yeah, Necroface. Yeah,
Necroface.
You can return,
I don't.
When you summon it, it returns every single banished card from both RFGs back to their deck.
Yep. It's pretty amusing that they made an entire card based on when Dark Necrofear is killed in its anime episodes, the face stays behind to laugh at you before it dies. They made an entire card of just that.
Yeah,
They made an entire card of just that. Anyway, Golden Strongberg, Golden Strongberg, Golden Strong Sandwich. It's great.
Yeah.
It's very great.
And
anyway,
you know what's equally great is the way that Yugi beats it. So I really, really like how this duel played out. Like,
I really like that Yugi does things that make sense.
He does. Like, okay, so what he does, he's running out of cards in his deck. Because he's got to pay this cost of half his deck every turn. And then what he does is he pulls out, I forget what it's called, but it's basically the card games, the card, where you get to pull out 5 monsters.
Royal Straight Slasher.
That's the one.
The Royal Straight Slasher. For the first time, we actually see why he runs these Poker Night cards.
This card isn't even real. It's still not real.
It sort of is, but not really. There's a fusion monster called Arcana Night Joker.
But that's from Yu-Gi-Oh! R.
Yeah, it's there's 2 different versions of cards that are what if the Poker Knights did something. But what this card does is it lets Yugi send 5 cards from his deck to wherever they go. To destroy something, but it doesn't work. But it turns out it does work, because sending cards from his deck is what Yugi wanted, because, Yugi only has 1 card in his deck. That means the cost can't be paid, because you can't split 1 card in half.
Yep.
Unless you're Kaiba.
I went through
Unless
the whole...
you're Kaiba!
Yeah, well... Okay, so I went through the whole duel, and I counted every card that Yugi played or discarded or whatever, and yeah, he did go through exactly 40 cards to do this.
They actually have a breakdown of this. Not only your version, but it's on the wiki too. They have a breakdown of it.
It's amazing!
It's pretty epic.
To show you that they weren't shitting you, it's real.
And of course, because it's Yugi, the last card in his deck is Monster Reborn, so...
Of course.
So it's like, yes, the last card in my deck. Everything rides on this card being good. Oh, look, it's the best card in the game.
Also, he knew that it was that card, because in his previous turn, the last thing he did was go through his deck, pick out 5 of the 6 cards, and discard them. So he knew what the last one was.
Yep. It's amazing. Like this is the only canon instance of Yugi doing the thing the Millennium Puzzle does, but he even isn't actually. So the Millennium Puzzles, so Destiny Draw is actually the Millennium Puzzle's power canonically, but they never acknowledge it, because then Konami would have to acknowledge that the protagonist's been cheating this whole time.
So yeah, and then then he wins, because
he wins.
Siegfried summons Hextrude, which is the booby lady, and he's just like, just kill it and win, and then Yugi's like, okay, and then he does it. And then Siegfried's like,
kills boobies! He kills boobies with the power of Horny Magician.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that at this point Leon doesn't even want to win because he played this illegal card, and he's like, brother, why did you make me play this illegal card that I can't get rid of?
Yeah,
because I want to win, Leon. You know you must do it for the family, yeah.
This is such an interesting dynamic. Also, at this point, he wants to give up. He wants to surrender, but if he surrenders and the card hasn't been destroyed yet, then the virus will still go off. So Yugi's all like, Leon, you have to play this duel as if you weren't about to ruin a man's company.
Yeah. Oh yeah, actually, they've got to beat it in the card game to stop the virus from spreading. It's
like the computer all over again, but they need to destroy one specific card that won't stop.
It's so stupid.
There is no way to get rid of this card. Siegfried's been saying this whole time, it can't be destroyed by spell or trap effects. But he leaves out they can't be destroyed by monster effects because they want everyone to have that hope. But then Arcana Night Joker happens, or whatever it is, Royal Flesh Poker.
Yeah.
flushes all over the toilets.
But so okay. I love how
This is-
as soon as Kaiba finds out that this card has been letting a virus into his system, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go sort that out. He doesn't decide to, just cut the power or anything like a normal person.
No, see, he is so confident that Yugi is going to figure this out that he's like, just let it run.
And in addition to that, he already figured out that this would happen and backed up all his systems like an hour ago.
Yeah, as soon as the Duel Arena computer got hacked in the first episode of this arc, Kaiba was like, right, back everything up, clearly there's a guy.
Yeah.
Clearly there's a guy. And obviously Yugi figures it out, because of course he does. He's Yugi.
Yep.
And it's all good. And Dark Magician, and he plays a spell, lets it attack everything, and he wins because he's Yugi.
Yep.
And there's a monster that has more attack points than Dark Magician, but that monster's attack points is determined by all the other monsters Leon has. So if Yugi attacks all the monsters at the same time, then he can destroy all the monsters at the same time. So he wins. And he wins, and he does that, he wins. And Siegfried is all like, ha ha! But even if my plan isn't done, most of Kaiba Corp's systems are broken. And then Kaiba shows up and is like, fuck you, bitch! No, it's not. I fuck horses for days! we totally skipped. I had this amazing quote while I was in the chat. I was, when Siegfried summoned all these women riding horses in his Kaiba duel, I was like, bitch, you think Kaiba, you're gonna win because you have horses? Kaiba fucks horses for days, bitch!
Indeed he does. Anyway, so,
Indeed he does.
Yeah, so I guess that's that. That's the Kaiba Corp Grand Prix.
You know what? The only thing Kaiba hasn't done yet with Blue Eyes is he hasn't genetically engineered horses that look like Blue Eyes White Dragons.
He's working on it.
I'm sure he's working on it. Every animal needs to be a Blue Eyes!
Yep. So, so all the good guys get on a plane back to Japan, and then they get on another plane straight to India.
And the bad guys. So as soon as Weevil and Rex got their asses kicked, they were booted back to Japan.
Against their will, by the way. Mokuba specifically says it was against their will.
I mean, they got a free trip home against their will. How does that...
I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to go home.
They were reluctant. Oh, and we got a last second cameo from, oddly enough, Valen and Imelda.
Oh yeah. Just so quick, I didn't even notice them.
Yeah, I did though. And Mai was in there, but that was more obvious because they just cannot hide the boobies.
Yeah. So it turns out that Valen is Imelda is in fact from Italy, like we've figured out, and Valen is apparently from Greece.
Yeah. Wait, he's from Greece. Wait, but Valen, but his accent. No.
Well, Celtic Guardian doesn't have a Celtic accent, so fuck it. And I've already spilled the beans. Now on to the one where Celtic Guardian speaks.
So then they go back to Japan or Domino City, and then Joey enters some kind of, what was it?
It was one of those hand crank raffle things.
Joey enters a hand crank raffle to win all expenses paid 4-person trip to India.
I think they say India. Yeah, it's India.
It is definitely India. My confusion is not if it's India, but why it's India.
Because Alexander
India's
the Great.
A neat place.
It's Alexander the Great. Anyway, they go to India. Also, it turns out Grandpa is going on an expedition out of nowhere.
Yeah, so it turns out Yugi's grandfather is still an active archaeologist.
Yes.
Despite being so old that playing card games hurts his back. So he's going on a secret expedition that he didn't tell Yugi about until literally the day he was getting ready to go to the plane. Yep. And then Yugi's grandpa, I guess, went missing, and Yugi was concerned but not angsting about it like he usually does.
Well, no.
But
Okay, so at this point, he doesn't know that Grandpa's gone missing. So they get on the plane to India, and then the plane crashes, and then they meet Mr. Brisbane.
He acknowledges at the start of the season, he says, Grandpa should be home by now. It's been over a week.
Yeah.
So, he's concerned but not angsting like he usually is when his grandfather goes missing.
Yeah, so then they go to India, the plane crashes, they meet this guy, his name is Alex Brisbane or some shit. He works with Grandpa's dad, and it turned not Grandpa's dad.
Yugi's great-grandfather, Grandparg! Grandpa too!
It turns out there's some weird pyramid in the middle of India in this jungle. Oh, what a coincidence. Turns out
Are they even in India?
Yes.
I think so.
They explicitly state.
Okay, because the plane crashed.
It was near enough to their destination, just over a jungle.
This plot is so stupid. But yeah, so there's a pyramid, and they go into the pyramid to look for Yugi's grandpa, who's in the pyramid, I guess. And there's a room with a puzzle with a map, and they accidentally walk on the map, and now they live in Pokemon.
Yes, they do. By the way, I just want to say, so we watched this whole
teleported.
Okay, so hang on, right. So we watched all of Capsule Monsters in English because that's kind of the only version that exists. There may be a Japanese version, but we don't know. It's unconfirmed.
Okay, so Capsule Monsters was a spin-off mini-series commissioned entirely by 4Kids, but unlike Pyramid of Light, not dubbed into Japanese as far as we could tell.
Yeah, as far as we know.
The dub was the only version that exists, and is the reason why Liam is not here. He was a little bitch and couldn't be bothered to get through Capsule Monsters at all.
Because he hates the dub so much.
I don't know how Weevil's not even in Capsule Monsters.
But Weevil's voice is perfect for Weevil. He's a little shit, so he sounds like a little shit.
Yes, Weevil's voice is perfect for the character, but it's also unlistenable.
Yeah, so okay. So
Weevil is the worst part of the dub. The worst part.
So, okay, Capsule Monsters is, really weird, and I don't just mean in terms of the plot, I mean in terms of, the way it was released and everything. So, it came out in 2006, while Season 1 of GX was already airing in English. And this show started airing before it was even announced. It started airing in Ireland, a week before it was announced to even be a thing.
Ireland?
Yes.
Yeah, I never saw this show when I was a kid, so watching it for the first time, and then I was like, wow, this is actually not very good. But we'll get to why it's not very good later.
I saw a couple episodes, and I was convinced that this entire arc is just a weird dream that they were having, and it might as well be.
Yeah, it might as
well be. Because, okay, so, we'll get into it later, but nothing really of consequence happens.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, Yugi's one thing does, but I don't think it really matters.
Yugi's grandpa gets to be cool for a bit. Yugi confronts the Pharaoh conflicts a dark reflection of himself, I guess.
Kinda, yeah.
We see some old favorite cards have their time in the spotlight, and some new cards that we never see anywhere else. It's neat.
And a lot of really shitty Nillas show up in this episode, in this arc.
This whole season, I called it a season 1 throwback because the environments in this show are the environments that were confirmed to exist on Duelist Kingdom, but that we never saw.
Yeah,
a volcano world and a desert.
So they go into the pyramid, and they see this board, and they're like, "Oh, it's the Capsule Monsters board from that game we didn't play because this isn't Season 0."
Yeah. Well, no. At the start of this, it was like Season 0. We saw Yugi playing with Taya and explaining how the game works.
That's true. Yeah.
It was like,
I was
wow.
okay. So like you expecting them to actually play Capsule Monsters? You're wrong. They don't.
No.
And that actually bugged the shit out of me. Like I was waiting for some, games because that's why I watch fucking this show called The King of Games. But no, they don't play any fucking games. All I do is they pick up their monsters and then shoot them out of capsules, and then the monsters just fight other monsters. And I'm like, well, this would be cool if the monsters had any character, but they don't. Yeah. So it's just like
this game. This is less an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh where characters play a game with rules, and more Yu-Gi-Oh trying to be Pokemon.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's like the entire thing is just Pokemon, yeah.
Okay, that's why this sucks. It doesn't suck because it's only in English. It doesn't suck because it's filler. It sucks because it's doing something it's not good at, and it's very, very not good at it.
Yeah. So to put it in perspective, there are so little rules to how anything works here that Celtic Guardian and Blackluster Soldier are apparently on equal terms on equal feet in terms of power.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
Celtic Guardian has less than half of Blackluster Soldier's
so basically, let's go over this. So they enter the board game. They step on the tiles so basically they enter the pyramid. They find a giant board game. Alex is like, this is where I last saw your grandpa. And then they step on the board game, and it teleports them to, like, the Capsule Monster world. And now they have to play Capsule Monsters. And by that, they have these guns that shoot capsules out of them and summon their Pokemon. It's just fucking Pokemon, except
and
they
wear them like dual discs.
Yes. So
and also, Yugi has power armor like the Green Ranger.
Yeah, okay, we'll get there. So then, the one good thing is that everyone is useful in this show, so it's already doing better than normal Yu-Gi-Oh! In that
Tristan does more in this one 12-episode miniseries than he has done in his entire life.
So everyone gets their Capsule Monsters. Tristan gets Thunder Kid. Taya gets Happy Lover. Joey gets Baby Dragon.
Yugi
Grandpa gets Summon
Guardian.
Skull. And Yugi gets Celtic Guardian.
So, like, Yugi's grandpa shows up randomly while Tristan and Taya are caught fighting a sea monster. And his grandpa has, like, the coolest introduction ever, and it's the coolest he's been all show. He says, all echoing in the distance, "Summon Skull! Lightning Strike!" Shit, put an echo on that.
Sure.
So they go through this, and then they have to, like, beat the game, and by beat the game they have to pass these 5 tests to get the ultimate power, and that's the only way to leave. So they start doing these tests, and they get a bunch of things, and I don't know, what are the tests?
Okay, so the first one's in a desert, and they gotta, like, kill a thing that's in the center of a desert whirlwind.
Oh they have to kill a shitty fusion monster called Mystic Sand.
They gotta kill the Sand Lady for some statues. Yeah. Some statues told them to.
Yeah. They kill it, but, like, Yugi's really tired after killing it because he put on the dual armor infused with something.
He put on the Battleizer, that's what they call it. Every Power Rangers season apparently has something called the Battleizer armor, which is an accessory that you put on your action figure. It's basically power armor. Yeah.
So Yugi gets his armor, and he can use it to merge with his monsters. And the first thing he does is merge with the Dark Magician, and he beats Mystic Sand.
Also, he has the Dark Magician now.
Okay, so something that happens is that as soon as he gets Dark Magician, he just forgets about Celtic Guardian. Like, barely ever plays it again.
He gets Hinatama's soul, and it doesn't show up till the very last episode.
And that hurts me. That hurts me because Cherubin the Fire Knight was one of my first cards.
Yeah, well,
like in the first, like he was the rare in the first booster pack.
I'm sorry we're going through this, but this is like not a lot. Stupid.
We're sorry we're speeding through this, but it's stupid.
It's so stupid.
Oh my god! So they beat the first trial and kill Mystic Sand. They meet a bunch of people in the game. I'm not sure. Are the people real or are they statues or what?
They're statues that pretend to be people.
Yeah.
Also,
then,
Joey's off doing Looney Tunes bullshit.
yeah. And then, okay, so what's the
Pegasus
second trial?
isn't even in this show, and they're doing Looney Tunes bullshit.
So what's the second trial? After they beat the first trial of killing Mystic Sand, the
The,
second
the
trial
second
was...
one is the trial of light and shadow. So the Prisma whatever called.
Oh yeah, they have to
thing.
beat Prisman, another
Yeah.
shitty
Elemental
normal
Hero
monster.
Prisman!
No, before him.
Regular Prisman!
Exactly, and he's shitty normal monster. He shoots lasers, and they have to use the laser to shoot. What was it?
It's a big stone block.
Yeah, and they shoot it,
Yeah.
and then
And then one of the first ritual monsters in the game shows up.
Yeah, Prisman turns into Skull Guardian or whatever.
This is my favorite thing about the show is that this is like the last time to shine for these shitty Nillas, as Joe calls them. These
They are
cards
shitty
these cards are worthless. Like
they're like pack filler. That's what my friend called my brother called pack filler. Like they had a quota of a certain amount of cards to make, but they didn't feel like giving them all effects or decent art, so they just just draw whatever. We'll throw some stats and shit on them.
Except the ritual monsters from the early days were just as useless, but for some reason were given like high prestige. Like you had to win certain events in real life in order to even get them.
Yeah, they're trash.
What I ranted about during that last Bandit Keith duel, Zara the Mant.
Sucks ass.
It's not as impressive as it seems, but Konami really wanted you to think it is.
Yeah, like the first ritual monster with an effect was Relinquished, and unlike all the other ones, Relinquished actually does something. I would like summoning Relinquished is okay because he does something. What does Zara the Mant do? Nothing and dies. Whereas that picture, that thing does absolutely nothing and dies.
Blackluster Soldier's release was such a momentous occasion in Yu-Gi-Oh! That it's one of the only cards that was officially printed in steel at one point.
Jeez.
Yeah, so anyway, they beat the shitty. Do they beat it or do they like not beat it? I remember one of the things was like not killing it for some reason.
Yeah. So they almost beat it, and then Yugi steps in to stop them from killing it, because if you kill it, then you don't win, and if you spare it, then you do win. It's Undertale. It's Undertale.
Yeah, so basically and also Yugi and Tristan Joey and Tristan tried to do this whole mission themselves because they feel like, well, Yugi does all the work all the time. We never do anything useful. Also
Yugi was in a coma because he tired himself out from the last mission.
We should try to pull our own weight for once and try to solve this mission ourselves, and they almost fuck it up, so that went well.
Yeah, and then they do the third trial. What's the third trial? Is that the maze?
This is the one with the sword.
No, that's the fourth one. The maze.
Okay,
that's the fifth.
Yeah, no. The Red Eyes Black Dragon one is the third one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So
this is Joey turns evil again.
Yeah, Joey fights the Red Eyes Black Dragon, and then he merges with it and somehow becomes evil, and then they beat him up, and then he's good again.
No. See,
and he never merges.
It's because Red Eyes has like a sword impaled in it, and the trial is Red Eyes has a sword in it. Take the sword out, you get Red Eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
So Joey gets Red Eyes, and also Joey he gets the armor like Yugi, but then he never uses it ever again, so what the fuck?
I don't think he can do this on command. I think it's just a thing that happens because of the evil sword.
Yeah, well, basically he becomes Lord of Red again, and then he gets beaten, and then they get the sword, and they did the third trial. And then the fourth trial happens, and the fourth trial, is that the maze?
It happens in the volcano land.
Yeah, is that the maze? Is the fourth trial the maze?
Yes it is.
Yeah, they go through the maze, and I remember Tristan gets some card, and he just like fuck the maze, like he just
Yeah, he gets like
Boost through
Thunder
the
Dragon or
whole-
whatever it's called.
Like, and it's either Yugi or Joey who says, "I kind of feel bad that we're just cheating through this maze," and Tristan's all like, "Nothing in the rulebook says a dog can't play basketball."
Yeah. Okay. So in addition, Tristan turns out Tristan is the Lord of Melons. He is the national president of the
Yes.
Melon Club.
They find
National
a
Melon
giant.
Club.
4 years running.
4 years running.
They
And then-
find a giant cantaloupe, and Tristan says that it's always been his dream to
Yes.
eat a giant cantaloupe.
I couldn't
And-
make this up. You gotta put the clip in. You gotta put the
Taya
clip
and,
in.
yes,
Taya and
yes.
Joey express that this is the most disturbing thing they have ever heard. That a
Yeah.
man has devoted his entire existence to eating a giant, not even the best melon. Not
Anyway,
even the best melon.
Not a
There are
watermelon
people
or a
in this
honeydew.
world.
Oh, yeah.
There are people in this world who hold cantaloupe to be the least favorite thing.
A melon? It's always been a dream of mine to eat a humongous cantaloupe!
Okay, that's the most disturbing thing I've ever heard.
I was the president of the National Melon Lovers Fan Club for 4 years!
Not something you want to say out loud.
But yeah, also, speaking of food, I just remembered there's this great scene early on, like before they even enter the trials, where they're looking for food, and Grandpa Moto just gives Yugi a can of beans. He's like, can of beans? Don't mind if I do. And I love it.
Because he's got a British accent. This line was presumably improv.
POV, Grandpa Moto gives you a can of beans.
Anyway,
Yep.
so then
So
that
beans.
needs to be the picture for this. Just
Yes.
a POV of Grandpa giving you beans. And
Hold on.
so
POV Grandpa giving
so-
you
so
beans.
they basically, the trial here is you have to say what of the fruits is. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
bug,
there's
you
like
have
the
to
bug
eat the
eats
melons.
bug eats the special fruits.
Oh, so it turns out it wasn't a melon! It was petite moth!
Yes, it was petite moth. And then petite moth
Tristan's friends convinced him to not eat this melon, even though it was his life's dream. So he drew his face on it to lay claim to this melon that he will eat later. And then it turns out it was a bug. And oddly enough, Tristan does not express dismay at this, or even disgust, like I would. It's like, no, my life's dream was to eat that melon, but it wasn't a melon. Or, ew, I almost ate that. It was like, ah, shit, we're gonna die. Bug.
Anyway, so petite moth, it eats this fruits of evolution, turns into perfectly ultimate great moth, and then Yugi eats the other fruitses, and he gets the dark magician of black chaos to replace the dark magician, and then they fights and he wins, and then they use the last fruit to do something, and then they complete the trial.
They put it on a box and then the door opens.
So
Yes,
there were three fruits for a reason. One was so the enemy could evolve, one was so they could evolve, and then one was so that they could win.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then they go to this other village, and they're like, "Oh God, this girl is being sacrificed." And then they're like, "No, we'll defeat the evil deity you're
The
sacrificing."
Fiendish
to.
Five.
The Fiendish
And-
Five, yes, and it just
here
is.
we have
it
the
is
fucking five god dragon again.
Yes, but before that, they have to fight 5 shitty normal monsters, and then they beat them, but they're like immortal, and then they merge together to become the 5 god dragon. And then
This is the
Yugi-
fourth
then
time
Yugi-
we've seen this thing.
Then Yugi like frees the blue eye. Then they like pray to their god, which turns out to be the blue eyes white dragon, and it fuses with Yugi to be the big armor.
I choose to believe that this is the stone tablet corresponding to Yugi's grandpa's blue eyes.
That would
Okay,
be cool.
sure.
I
Sure.
like that.
Sure,
Yeah.
and then he uses the blue eyes white dragon and fuses with it, and then he kills the 5-headed dragon and wins.
Yeah, he looks so stupid in the armor. I love it.
Y'all gotta show the armor. It's so big
Yeah,
and
the armor
dumb.
does
Oh my
not.
God.
The armor looks kind of stupid, yeah, but Here's the thing, though. If Kaiba's not involved with this, he's in every episode. He's in the introduction to every episode because he's a main character of the franchise. He's just not in this miniseries.
Yeah.
Sir not appearing in this series.
Yeah, they really dialed back the number of, like, named characters in this season.
Oh, yeah, I remember
it's...
the girl afterwards is like, thank you, Yugi, and Joey's, like, super jealous, like, and I'm just like, another one for Yugi's harem.
Oh, no.
This one doesn't even have a name.
Yeah,
she's just sacrificial girl.
Yep. Yeah. So this armor looks really stupid, but it looks like a blue eye. So if Kaiba was in this series, he would be super pissed that he didn't get to wear it. Yeah. So like, if Kaiba ever finds out about, you know what? Capsule Monsters is the reason why Kaiba pisses on Yugi so much in GX. Capsule Monsters.
Okay,
because before Kaiba respects Yugi. He doesn't hate Yugi.
Yeah.
So he doesn't. So it's really out of character how much he belittles Yugi in GX. But not if you consider that Yugi got to wear a shining suit of Blue Eyes White Dragon armor, and Kaiba didn't even get to see it, let alone wear it. It's like, I will never forgive you for this, Yugi. I will never forgive you.
Yeah, and just before this, I forgot to mention, they meet Alexander the fucking Great, who has been trapped in this game for 2,000 fucking years.
Yeah. Yugi actually got the armor from his hallucination of Alexander the Great in his mind.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So then
was Alexander the Great actually a pharaoh at any point?
Yes, he was.
Everything they say about Alexander the Great, except for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters part, is all true. They don't lie about any of it except for, well, obviously the dark spirit and the Capsule Monsters didn't happen.
I know that Egypt was one of the countries Alexander the Great conquered, but was he ever formally a pharaoh, like with the headdresses and everything?
Probably. I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
So I love what they did with Alexander the Great here. So basically they explain it is, at some point during his reign, he acquired the Millennium Ring.
And it makes him evil, and that's why he decides to conquer the world.
Okay, so what it does is it does not imbue him with the spirit of Dark Marek, who is Dark Marek, Bakura, who is canonically in the ring at this point. No, instead what it does is it splits Alexander into two Marek style, and now he's got an evil half that, like, lived the rest of Alexander's life back in the real world or something.
The wiki actually calls him Yami Alexander.
Good, beautiful.
So Dark Side of Dimensions retcon that the ring was just inherently evil.
Yes.
Whether you're Bakura or not, if you wear it, you're evil.
Yes, so, and then that's why Alexander decided to keep going and conquer, like, everywhere, and the only reason he stopped is because, his crew didn't want to go with him anymore, and he, like, tried to get the evil power from the pyramid that would let him control the world, but he couldn't do it because it wouldn't prove him worthy for some stupid reason, and...
Oh yes, the mysterious and nebulous power to control the world.
Yes, and then Shadi shows up, but I assume...
shows up?!
I assume this isn't, like, actually Shadi. It's, like, it must be the, like, first version of Shadi, because Dark Side of Dimensions explicitly states who Shadi was. And I realize that is a retcon, and this is a retcon.
I don't like any of it!
Yeah, there's, like, two retcons.
I don't like any of it!
There's, like,
I don't like any
right
explanation that anybody has provided for who or what Shadi is. I don't like any of it. I think the franchise would almost be better if Shadi wasn't even in it, because he shows up, he's really cool and mysterious, then they explain who he is and it makes no sense, then they retcon it and explain who he is different and it still doesn't make sense. It makes even less sense. It actually makes even less sense. It doesn't. Why has his entire life revolved around the Shadow games that eventually became Duel Monsters, but suddenly now his life revolves around Capsule Monsters?
Oh my god. So anyway, Shadi's like, yo, we're gonna settle this once and for all. So, Yami Alexander, you're gonna fight Yami Yugi with your 4 buds, and Yami's got his 4 buds. Let's go. Whoever wins gets the power. And then they like summon a ton of shitty normal monsters. And then Alexander reveals his capsule monster, Reshef the Dark Being, ritual monster that was originally created for a video game as a promo and as a plot point. And then he summons an even more powerful, shitty normal monster by tributing all his friends' monsters called the 7-Armed Fiend, which has 666 attack and 666 defense. Now, you may think, what is the 7-Armed Fiend? I don't remember this card. I don't remember this card from anything. And that's because it only shows up in one episode as a shitty normal monster Yami Bakura pulls out of his fucking sleeve or something. And that's it.
No.
That's it.
Okay.
It doesn't. It's not even a real card.
The person who sold Bakura's dad the ring showed him the 7-armed ring, the 7-armed fiend card, and said, "Hey, this is a trading card. Here, have a ring."
Look, and this is the only appearance of it until this episode, and for some reason it's not his chief monster, because that's Reshef the Dark Being. No, it's like secondary monster, and apparently each one of its limbs has its own ability. But we only ever find out what 6 of the 7 do, so we don't know what the fuck the 7th one does. I
called 7-Armed Fiend one of the most enigmatic cards because it just shows up.
They need to print this. They need to print this in real life. I want a level 1 666 7-Armed Fiend has 7 effects that are like related to the Capsule Monsters effects.
Realistically, what they would probably do is what they did to Orgoth the Relentless when that eventually got printed. They would just give it the effects that it had in Capsule Monster, yeah. So it wouldn't be a normal monster. Or what if it's a Gemini monster?
Can you imagine having the Gemini reminder text followed by like 7 individual effects on the tiny card?
It can still be a normal monster.
It's print, but it has a microscope. You would need a fucking a microscope to read its text at that point.
So for whatever reason, this is one of the stupidest things in so many stupid things. They've done a lot of stupid things. Okay. There's a class of card. They're treated as normal monsters, but while they're already on the field, you can summon them again.
Yes.
To have effect. Basically, I think it's supposed to be like they reincarnate or they go Super Saiyan or Power Ranger morph, or it makes no sense.
It doesn't matter, and and even better, you'd figure these cards, for having to summon them twice, they would have like really good effects, but 9 times out of 10, their effects are shit.
The Sun and Skull one is pretty good.
Yeah, but the Sun and Skull one was printed like 10 years after Gemini Mechanic was made. Like, the first ones are so bad. There's one called Tuned Magician. You want to know what his Gemini effect is? He becomes a tuner. He becomes a tuner. That's it. His effect is like you could just summon a level 4 tuner instead of him, and it would be better. Why on earth would you wait 2 turns to summon a tuner? Like, that's so bad. That's it's unacceptably bad.
It's so that he can be used both as the tuner and the non-tuner in certain situations, which that is the whole point. The whole point of the synchro mechanic was to make summoning big monsters faster.
Oh, tuner! Yeah, I thought you meant tuner as in like Toon World.
No. There's another one. I remember there's like Gemini monsters with such shit effects. There's like one that just says like, oh my god, that's the worst one I can remember off the top of my head.
There's one that has like 1,700 attack points, and its effect is you could summon this monster again to have 2,100 attack points instead.
Dude, I could just summon the Gene Warped Warwolf. Why on earth? Let me look at this shit. Okay. Oh my god.
There are cards that Konami has done a lot of things to try to come up with new card game mechanics, and some of them are just stupid. Some of them are really stupid.
Look, there's this one, okay? There's this one here. Let me read some of these. Gemini Lancer, 1800 attack. And you have to summon this guy twice, and then he gets piercing damage, which means that when you attack a monster in defense, you do damage to them. That's it. That's it. You know what I could do instead for that? I could just summon. Let me look it up. I bet you I could just summon.
It's a very common effect, piercing damage.
Yeah.
It's so common, in fact, that they came up with a word for it because they were tired of printing it on so many cards.
Yeah,
It's
like,
I can imagine they got tired of saying it in the anime too.
Yeah, we have to devote like 4 lines of text to this one card effect. Let's just make a word for it.
Here we go, guys. I could just summon. Okay, you ready for this? I could just summon fucking Lancer Lindworm. That's an 1800 attack monster with piercing. Has no downsides. He's just fucking 1800. Cross-Sword Beetle also does this. Cyberse Wizard does this, and he has another effect too. Let's see. Heroic Child Assault Halberd does this. Jumbo Drill has this. You understand? It's so shitty. Why would they print this?
We do have listeners that don't care about card game mechanics and just want to hear us rant about the show. And I do apologize to them for bringing about this rant simply off of speculation about how 7-Arm Fiend could work.
It's so funny.
Just so bad. Like Konami's just like, hey, let me fucking okay. Let's make a new mechanic. Do you have to normal summon twice? That seems like a good idea. We should have these cards have really good effects. How about we do an effect that's just like this other card except just shittier? That sounds like a good idea. I definitely imagine someone will waste 2 fucking summons on it.
It's really weird. Konami does this thing where they don't want cards to be too broken, except sometimes they sort of do. Like there are cards that are so broken, and yet there are other cards that they deliberately gimp. Like there's like Card of Sanctity. You know that card that Yugi plays at every duel that lets him draw 6 cards?
Oh yeah.
They thought that was so broken that when they printed it, what they did was they made it so that you have to get rid of every card on your field and in your hand to draw 2 cards.
No.
So it's Pot of Greed, but you have to nuke the field.
No.
Well,
why would you do that?
This card is called. You ready for this? This card is called King Pyron. It's 1500 attack, level 5. So you have to tribute a monster and then normal summon a second time, and then he gets the effect. Once per turn, you can inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. But he's 1500 attack. He's never going to live. I could summon anything and kill him. Summon Gemini Elf and kill him.
Oh dear.
So as I mentioned, there is a Summon Skull one that is called the Red Eyes Skull Archfiend. So it's not only is it a Summon Skull, so it's a 1 tribute, you get 2500 attack, pretty useful. Also, it's tied into the Red Eyes archetype, so it's got all the benefits of like Red Eyes support cards. And you normal summon it, have the effect of that thing that it did in season 1 sometimes. Where it can blow up any monster that has less defense points than its attack points.
Look at this, okay? There's this card,
pretty good.
Phantom Dragon Ray Bronto, okay?
What?
You have to normal summon him twice. Okay, you have to normal summon him twice, as usual, because he's a Gemini. Then his attack becomes 2300, but he turns to defense mode at the end. He's just Goblin Attack Force! Why would I play this card twice? Why would I ever want to do that? Why wouldn't I just play Goblin Attack Force? There's a card here called Infinity Dark. When he attacks, he gets to change a monster to defense mode. Gravekeeper's Assailant was already a card then and does that, and he has more attack, and you don't have to summon him twice.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. Gemini monsters are so bad. Worse, they'd accidentally made the Gemini monsters so bad that they had to come up with specific Gemini support cards. So that there was a reason to actually play these cards.
Just so you know, there are only 44 Gemini monsters in the entire game.
Oh wow.
boy.
Okay, why are we are supposed to be talking about Capsule Monsters.
let's
Okay,
get back to
okay,
Capsule
I'm sorry,
So,
I'm sorry.
Rush of
That's
the
like
Dark
the
Being-
10-minute rant. You should put like a warning that I'm going to go on a 20-minute rant about how shitty Gemini.
No.
Anyway, they beat the 7-armed fiend. They beat it. They beat the shitty
Yes,
monster with
yes.
666 attack, and then he sacrifices his dudes who you already thought were sacrificed because they
But now
said
they're
that before,
sacrificed
but
again.
it's again
Yes.
to
So
power
that-
up the Reshef, the Dark
Apparently,
Being.
Reshef the Dark Being is just a giant, rigid statue. But if you
Shoots
sacrifice a
lasers.
bunch of guys, then its limbs detach and can fly around.
Yes.
Yeah, and it shoots lasers everywhere, and then
It's great. It's great. So Yugi goes into attack, and then Alexander the Great's all like, "My guy isn't just a big old guy for defense. I'm not just sitting in my tower waiting for you to hit me. I got lasers!" And it's so bizarre because this guy's supposed to be over thousands of years old, and he knows the word lasers, and
He's got the
he says,
omnidirectional
"Activate
laser assault."
array."
Yeah.
And so this ancient-looking statue suddenly has robot laser guns.
Okay, laser is a scientific acronym. It means light amplification by the stimulated emission of radiation. How does
didn't have
Alexander know
science
that?
back
How does
then.
he know that? Now, how does he know that? He's 2,000 years old and he's been trapped in a pyramid.
Ancient Egyptian laser beams! There's
Like if they
lasers
were
all
called,
over
like,
the
if it
place!
was like called light array or something, I would understand.
Yugi
but laser
warns him that he's
implies-
shooting around the laser so erratically he's gonna shoot his own guys. His own guys are already dead, Yugi! He doesn't give a shit!
So
He
anyway,
tributed them twice.
okay.
And then
So
Yugi like tells him like
So-
Yugi tells him that you need to value your subjects if you're a real good king,
Yes.
and he's like, my subjects are just for me to use, and then I throw them away, and I'm like, what a fucking cunt, Yami Alexander.
Yes,
Wow.
and then what Yugi does is he tells all of his monsters, "Go protect my friends," because he's got 5 monsters and 5 friends. So yeah, that works out pretty well. But
Except
then
he
all
summons
of
fucking Karibo to do it.
well, yeah, but Karibo stays behind.
Tristan, so you're going to go protect him.
It's okay. Karibo stays with Yugi and doesn't do anything. Anyway,
Oh,
so then
never mind. I guess fuck Tristan.
all of Yugi's friends' monsters then fuse into a new set of dual armor for Yugi,
And
which
it
is
looks
basically
even
5 God
worse.
Dragons. Yeah, and it looks
What if the
terrible.
Blue Eyes armor looked even worse?
Oh yeah, it's the armor of unity, and it's just like got these 5 different colors to it. It looks terrible, but it lets him win. So
They could have called it
And
the
then they
5
defeat
Dragon
Yami,
armor.
They defeat Yami Alexander, and then normal Alexander comes back, and he's like, I'm thankful, my servants. You guys are my bestest friends. I've realized the power of friendship. And then it shows this really
And,
cool scene
and Shadi
where
is all like,
Alex-
okay, Pharaoh, you're good now. You want
You
to
get
take
the
over
power.
the world? And then he's all like, no, I just want to go home. And then Shadi's all like, good. He who deserves the power to rule the world can do so without it. And I like that
Yes.
line.
yeah,
that's my
And
that's my
then-
favorite
and
thing
then
about this
Alexander-
show.
yeah,
It's my favorite
yeah,
thing
and then-
about this show. It's the only thing about this show that's actually good.
My favorite thing is Alexander says that Yami's rule was an inspiration to him. And then it shows this cool scene of them both like wearing their Pharaohs outfit, and
Yeah.
then it
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's neat.
So, so apparently, apparently Alexander the Great knew about this pharaoh. I guess he recognized him from the carvings because his name is
his
lost.
hair is
you can't miss
his
that hair.
yeah,
You can't miss
the
that
hair
hair.
is pretty fucking distinctive. How could you?
I guess. I'm just so
But I
baffled.
mean, if Yami Yugi is from 5,000 years ago, that means Alexander is closer to I want you to realize that Alexander the Great lived closer to us than Yami Yugi did to him.
Yeah, he distinctly mentions 2,000 that he's waited 2,000 years.
Well, I
for
mean,
whatever the hell he's doing.
Iwatea specifically tells you the year he was born, like 356 BC.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
point is, yeah, I guess it would make sense that that Alexander the Great would know about Yuki Pharaoh
Because
Yuki.
of his stupid hair. Because of his
Because
stupid
of his
hair,
stupid
you could
hair.
not.
Stupid hair is stupid show.
Your rule was an inspiration to me because I really liked your hair.
And then Alex Brisbane is back to normal. He's no longer possessed by Yami Alex.
And he's confused by planes, and the plane rescue team comes to rescue them, the contest winners, and they're confused because there were only 4 before, but now there are 6. And Yugi's grandpa just keeps putting his hand on people's chest and telling them, "It's okay. It's gonna be okay."
Yeah. Oh yeah, and also the pyramid sinks into the ground.
Alex Brisbane is just like, Yugi's grandpa, where were you? I don't remember your name. It's like, don't worry, it's gonna be okay. And then he's like, the plane guys are like, wait, there are 6 of you. We can't fit 6 people on our helicopter. Yugi's grandpa has got hands though, so it's okay. It's okay.
We'll double up. We'll double up.
Yeah.
And then the pyramid. Pyramid sinks to the ground, and never to be seen again because this is a filler arc. Once again.
That always happens in filler arcs. Just the place where they were in the filler explodes or sinks or is destroyed in some way.
Rebecca is the only filler character to actually come back. So think about that.
Rebecca and her grandfather are the only filler.
Well, Rebecca's grandfather isn't filler though.
Oh,
of course, because like at the end of season 1, he was a thing.
He was even in season 0. He can't be filler.
Wait, he was in season 0?
Yeah, remember he got beamed by.
What?
I think that's.
I don't think he was in it.
Rebecca is the only location from season. It's the only location of a filler arc that didn't explode.
Well, I guess Kaibaland USA didn't explode.
Kaibaland's not filler.
No, but it happened in filler.
Kaibaland in general isn't filler.
Okay.
Kaibaland USA is filler.
Yeah.
He is in Series 0, and he is in the manga, but only as someone who is mentioned and shown.
Okay.
Well, he's actually in Series 0. He gets owned by Shoddy, remember?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I remember him now.
And he is in...
Yeah, he's not named. He's just Sugoroku's friend.
So he's not filler.
Joe is trying to paste 2 things, but it's only pasting 1 thing.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
So he's confused.
Anyway.
There we go. He's not filler. He's
yeah. He's just Sugoroku's friend. That's just who he is.
Yeah, he didn't have a fucking name back in the thing, but the
okay, so
there we are.
Okay, so the character is filler. The character both is and isn't filler then, because he was mentioned in the manga but never given a character.
Yes.
All right.
Oh dear.
Oh god. So yeah, that's the end, and they go back, and we're gonna start Millennium World next week.
Yes.
We're gonna do Millennium World.
Rebecca is really cute. I want to be a Rebecca when I grow up.
So yes, next time we will be watching Millennium World. That's the rest of season 5. That's the rest of the main show. Yeah.
Get ready for hot dragon dicks.
Yeah.
Oh
Epic.
yeah.